Every time I've driven, like, because my boyfriend's family lives in Aurora. So,
Okay.
like, we would drive out. It's like 45 minutes or an hour from
Mm,
where we are.
yeah.
And every time we go, I'm like, it's too quiet out here. It's so weird. Like, it makes me uncomfortable. I can't deal with it. Like,
I
more power to the people who live, like, out there, like, comfortably, because it's obviously cheaper. But man, I can't deal
mm.
with it.
Okay. In Aurora, it's cheaper, but all the towns that you pass nearby on the way there, like Naperville, Wheaton, those are expensive ass places. It is not
Oh
cheaper.
man. Mm-mm.
Like,
I don't think I've ever actually stopped in Wheaton before. I mean,
yep.
granted, I don't frequent suburbs, but like,
Unless you have a reason to or you're super religious, you nobody stops
yeah,
there.
yeah, I'm like, no, I don't
Like the
really go
closest thing to a
anywhere.
bar there is a bowling alley and a Japanese restaurant. That's it.
Ooh, Japanese restaurant, delicious.
Almost 77.
I think, gosh, when was it? I think, no, yeah, I don't really go anywhere in the suburbs at all.
Oh yeah,
I'm
I don't
all,
really go
I mean, we're right
anywhere.
here. Uh-oh.
The stream cannot hear
Please.
you.
Not
Hello.
in the stream, no.
But they can hear us, actually.
Let's vamp for a second while I figure
What
out what in
happened
the
to the
world's going on.
pre-roll?
Testing 1, 2. How about now? Yeah, that's so weird. For some reason, OBS switched my default device to something that doesn't exist. I've probably been hacked. It's probably no big deal. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, miscreants and outlaws, monsters of the multiverse, and people from Chicago. My name is Huxley, and welcome to Praetor's Rejects. I have 4 players who have been waiting for 14 long, painful, miserable days. But now they finally get the chance they've been waiting for to be fools and be ridiculous and be fun, which is something they do all the time, even when they're not playing D&D. Ladies and gentlemen, I have Yagbin, Brabal, Edvard Thar, Bright, and Marlin, and I'm going to have them introduce themselves. Let's start with Yagvin.
Hello, my name is Alex. I'm also known as Sharkbait. I play the Warforged Echo Knight cleric Yagvin, who, as we described before, has wires for muscles.
Wires for muscles, enjoying healthy
Yeah.
robo organs, flexing wires, pushing
Not
electricity.
getting attacked by ghosts and stuff. It's fun.
You are a physical instrument, my friend. Let's move on
Indeed.
to Edvard Thar.
John, makeshift trousers in Discord and probably soon here in chat. I'm playing Edvard Thar, the samurai Luxodon, with a sword that he does not know sends humanoids to the river Styx to be transformed into some sort of demon or whatever. But he don't know that. Yeah.
And as you say that, Edvard, the sword whispers in your ear, "You'll know soon enough, doll."
Damn mosquito in my ear.
And while Edvard is flicking mosquitoes out of his giant ears, let's move on to Bright.
Hello, I am Bright, the Bard, College of Lore, if I remember that correctly, and Cleric of Life. And a little, with a sprinkling of light in there as well for flavor. She's a tiefling variant, the winged variety to be exact, and she likes to have a good time. She likes to sing. She likes to dance. She likes to shove her hand in dragon statue mouths.
What's the worst
Let's
that
see
could
where
happen?
that takes her.
Luckily, if you do die, then the party will be able to feast upon your lightly seasoned wings.
You know,
Little tiefling wings.
you gotta give back to the people who care about you.
I'm glad you have your priorities in line, Bright. Especially since... Well, never mind. I know what's going to happen. You guys don't know what's going to happen. But moving on. And then finally, last but not least, we have Marlin.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, oh, by the way, those aren't mosquitoes, those are flies. You stink. Yeah, and I haven't really cared for the last 14 days. I've been taking a nap, and enjoying it. But, yeah, some idiot named Loco, he's, pulling the strings somewhere, I don't know. But, yeah, I'm a wizard, 99 years old. Yeah, let's get on with it.
Yeah, and rumor has it that we are actually all dreaming, or actually figments of a dream of Marlin the Magnificent as he snoozes and his students watch and flick little paper footballs at him.
Have mercy, that's a nightmare, that's no dream.
The gods only know why he's dreaming about being trapped in a dungeon with these 3 other players.
Yeah, just with these other 3 players, don't worry about a dungeon.
And with
Just
that,
these
we're gonna transition right into the action. We're gonna jump straight to the map, and we're gonna pick up right where we left off. Now, if I remember correctly, some things were gonna happen. Does that sound accurate? Or maybe nothing was gonna happen? Let's see, what was everybody doing? Let's start with Bright.
I was mending a broken amulet that I found, which Yogvin identified as an amulet of Lathander. So she fixed it with mending. I also picked up another pinkish crystal and a couple things that I was going to actually identify, through magical means. That
Okay.
is what I was planning to do.
That sounds accurate. Certainly sounds accurate. And how about, let's see, Yogvin. I believe Yogvin was assisting Bright in that task.
I was giving the help action by holding the amulet steady for them to put it back together with mending.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And while these two were huddled up, conducting their business with the charm of Lathander, Marlin and his best friend Edvard Thar were, I believe they were working alongside these kobolds. Can you tell us more about the situation, Marlin?
Yeah, we released those 2 kobolds, and they said they were gonna go get some treasure or something. They brought us a bag back, and it had more grubs in it. I'm not sure why, but anyway, now we're just moving on down the hall.
Yes, and Edvard, you've got these kobolds here. They seem to be paying a great deal of respect to Marlin. They seem to not be giving you the number 1 spot. How does that make you feel?
Edvard really doesn't care if they're not giving him the number 1 spot. He's just weary of them. He's waiting for them to attack and make the wrong move, so that way he can slice them up and send them to the River Styx that he doesn't know about.
Let's see. I see that your detection of thoughts is not active right now. But I can just let you know anyways that their emotional state overall is one of fear and reverence. And it is directed at both of you. Both you, Edvard, and Marlin. They seem to be, for lack of a better term, they are your new foot soldiers for now. They seem to be ingratiating. They've given up this bag of goodies. And I say goodies, lightly. Marlin is currently holding a bag of rock grubs, and there's more stuff in another bag, jangling around, glass clinking upon glass. Now, I have not moved the timer yet, but I do know that some of the spells you guys can cast require more than 1 action. So I just want to set the scene and allow a little bit of free play here. Even though we have been kind of going round by round by round, we do have a little bit of leniency to just kind of relax a little bit and zoom out from the moment by moment suffocating initiative order. For the duration, Bright cannot do anything but cast her spell. Yogvin can assist, but you don't have to. You can just lay the pieces out on the ground, and then you can go and conduct some other business if you wish, Yogvin. And in the meantime, anything can happen over the course of a minute, and I just want you guys to just kind of describe what you want to do, and let's just kind of play with it a little bit. We don't have to go round by round. I'm not going to move the wall once per turn and then go initiative order. So what I'll do is I'll just change the number of rounds from 17 to 27, and I want you guys to just kind of tell me what you do. Now, that will change if someone crazy like Yogvin decides he's going to push on to the next hallway and start breaking down puzzles and doors and stuff, because then we'll have to go back into initiative order. But you can go and just see what's around the corner, or you can go back and slay the kobolds as your heart desires, Yogvin.
I will just continue to do the assist action. Maybe after a little bit, when it's kind of halfway put together, kind of prepare the body to be peacefully put to rest.
Okay. So yeah, there's like I said before, there's a couple things that are going on here. kind of all at the same time. There's a couple situations that need to be dealt with. Number one is mending the amulet, so Bright is handling that. There's also this poor little child's corpse, long since abandoned to the ravages of time. It seems like you guys want to do something with that corpse. Something good, perhaps. Hopefully. Dear God. And then there's the stuff in the bag that the kobolds have given Marlin. And then finally there is the matter of Marlin himself. He is putting on a brave face, but he is in crippling pain. He has been cursed by the embrace of a ghost. As a matter of fact, that was a wraith, which is a high level, high impact, high danger undead spirit, and he was robbed of his vital essence, and he is teetering on the edge of oblivion, if you will.
Yeah, whatever.
He feels like he's been doing that for years, but he's never felt closer, perhaps. This thing reached right through his chest with its incorporeal arm and caressed his heart and bled him of his vital warmth. Perhaps stole a very piece of his soul, who knows? Now, I want to remind you guys that I am very flexible with the rules in certain cases, and since we're zooming out from the initiative order, the rules become even more blurry. So what I'm trying to say is that you guys can attempt to do literally anything you want, and we can set the scene and come up with a way to try to make that happen. Even if you don't know a certain spell, perhaps you can find a way to replicate its effects. So I want you guys to sit for a minute and think and brainstorm on that as we transition to Marlin and Edvard. Marlin, I see you want to move. I will definitely grant that.
Yeah, before he moves, though, he would hand the bag, the pouch, whatever, with the clinking glass to Edvar. And he'll hold on to the grubs.
You're going to hang on to the grubs, Marlin?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, the kobolds seem quite satisfied that you're hanging on to the grubs. It's like, yeah, they said earlier, you deserve it. Like, they believe that is, like, one of the most awesome gifts they can give. And it's this disgusting, slimy bag of festering little creatures. You know that if you get them on you, they can dig into your skin and just kind of basically if one of them gets on your skin, there's a good chance they'll get inside you and you'll become infected with a horrible disease and probably die. But luckily, you have a tattered burlap sack separating you between their sweet caress of death.
Mm-hmm.
Edvard, you have this bag of stuff, and you have two kobolds who are just hanging out. What do you do?
I am actually going to reach into my pack and grab out 3 torches. I want to go light them and stick them in the empty torch holders.
Okay. No problem. Yeah, so you pull out some torches and you light them. No trouble there. And the hallway becomes lit, and it becomes even more obvious the circumstances of this room, this hallway. I'll just move you kind of to the middle here, Edvard. And the kobolds are just kind of in tow. I'm not going to turn the lights on because there's already a light emanating in here. It's not really going to change the light level very much. But it's pretty clear that this was like this whole hallway was designed to draw you towards this corpse. And now that the corpse is well lit, you can just see how pathetic it is. I think this is the first time you've been close to it, Edvard. It's just this poor little battered and bruised and skull-crushed, dry bones of a child. Doesn't even have any shoes on. It's just sad to behold. And yet, in the distance, around the corner, there seems to be a flickering flame. and yet another dragon head statue at the end of the hall. Does anybody else? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna hang out in the middle and like rummage through the bag of clinking glass and see what's in it.
Okay. And with that, I will see about adding, if I can remember how to do this, I'm going to add the contents of this bag to your party sheet.
Oh, I see it.
All right. So, so when you guys, when you go through the bag, I imagine maybe you do this with some other people, or do you want to do this by yourself, Edvard?
I mean, I'm doing it like I'm not hiding it, and if I
No
know
problem.
what something is, I'll say what it is. But I'm not trying to distract Bright and Yogvin.
No problem. So you find some alchemist fire flasks, and these are tiny little fragile glass cylinders full of a dangerous little fluid, and you can toss it, and when it breaks, it kind of sort of explodes in a little napalm blast. It's kind of like a little Molotov cocktail in our world, and it catches things on fire. It's just really good for burning stuff down. There's also a set of alchemist supplies. There's little vials of raw ingredients and little mixing jars and a mortar and pestle and things that can be used to create alchemical items of any kind. There's also a couple of strange little vials, and they're opaque. They're tiny little metal vials. You can determine that they are actually poison, which can be maybe applied to a weapon and used offensively. There's also a poisoner's kit. It's part of the alchemist supplies, but you can tell it's a poison kit because it singes the nostrils when you inspect the instruments, and some of the implements are singed and burned by acid. There's also a potion of healing, buddy. And then finally, there's an odd scroll that has been rolled up and sealed with what looks like parchment, like an extra layer of parchment to seal it shut. It looks like it may be a magical scroll.
Fancy.
Does anybody else feel like they need to do anything within this 1 minute before I go ahead and advance the wall and then reveal the outcome from Bright's spellcasting?
Oh, you mean the mending?
Yes.
Was that was done in the last minute, right? We're coming to the end of that spell?
That's right.
Oh, okay. So I guess I'll have to wait until after the fact so I can start a new one. So I will wait.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and say then that we are now on round 27, and I have advanced the wall. And the kobolds, they seem to be watching. One of them is like watching the wall, and another one is watching you guys. They seem to be performing some sort of teamwork. They're kind of talking amongst themselves. But they don't look like they're scheming against you. And now, since it's round 27, what happens next, guys? You guys have, Bright, you have cast Mending, and you have put together this Amulet of Lathander. It is a simple wooden amulet. It was just smashed to bits by some violent, enraged hand. But now it is whole. You feel like this might have been useful to you during earlier events, but here we are now.
So I guess, now that I know what it is and that it holds a symbol that she recognizes as where her cleric half comes in, did I notice? I noticed the way that Marlin was harmed by this wraith, right?
You certainly did. and he has something of a blackened stain across his chest. It seems like his clothing was. It seems like his clothing was aged. It's like he has bright blue garments, but in the place where the hand passed through his mortal form, that specific space has been aged by years almost, and it's a pale gray, and it's faded fabric as opposed to the bright blue robes he wears normally. And
Okay.
you can tell he's limping and hobbling. He's putting on a brave face. And he says whatever,
More than usual, huh?
but no, he's usually so spry. That's the thing. He's not doing cartwheels everywhere he goes like he normally does, so you know there's a problem with him.
Okay. So, I want to try and see if I can't use this newly found amulet as sort of a like blessing vessel of some sort to try and heal him of his ailment. Because I personally only have lesser restoration, but I wonder if you'd allow a little bit of flavor to try and use that religious side of things to see if she can't like restore him to his normal state before the wraith gripped his heart.
Yeah, this is a big deal, and we're doing something that I've kind of been cooking up for a little while. I've been thinking about this, and I love the idea of allowing players to do things that are a little outside the box. So I'm going to give you a little rule set here that may allow you to do something extraordinary, but there will be some costs. So first thing I want you to do is I want you to clearly state your goal. What do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish? Keeping in mind that the specific problem is that Marlin's maximum hit points have been reduced by 22 by the cursed embrace of this wraith.
In character, I don't know what the thing is that he did, but I would like to reverse the effect that his max health points were reduced. So I'd like to bring him back to normal at the very least.
Okay.
Is the goal.
Okay. I'm not going to make you roll just yet. It's going to be, I'll tell you, it's going to be one roll that resolves this situation. What skill do you want to use? And do you think you're the right person to make this roll? If you consider your team, if you consider everyone who's good at the stuff they're good at, what role do you think would best suit the situation? And I'll give you a hint. You are trying to replicate a spell effect. What spell are you trying to replicate? And what skill do you think you would use to try to make that happen?
I would think maybe a greater restoration would be helpful here, but
Okay.
That's all that I can think of off the top of my head, truly, or maybe a remove curse, but in character, I have no idea, or out of character, I have no idea exactly what it is that happened, so...
I think in character, you probably don't really know, you just have a feeling, it's like a hunch.
Yeah.
Out of character...
Both Bright and myself have no idea.
Out of character, I will tell you that Greater Restoration is the best option to pick. That spell specifically allows you to cure damage to a hit point maximum. That's a 5th level abjuration spell that clerics know. So
I know lesser restoration, but I
Yeah.
don't know greater restoration. And I don't know if our dear friend Yagvin, do you know greater restoration?
You think I know 5th level spells?
Well, let's talk about it. You guys are talking amongst yourselves. You're trying to solve this situation, solve this problem. Tell me what happens.
Like, I have, now that we fixed this amulet, I could call to my god and see if he would grant me the blessing to help Marlin in his time of need. but I'm not sure if I'm strong enough.
When you're getting ready to do this, Marlon can put his hand on you and guide you a little bit, or aid you, if you will.
Mm-hmm. And the help is always accepted.
So, I forgot person and in character. What god does Bright serve?
Lathander.
Well, that's the thing.
Okay,
This
I know there's
amulet here
two,
is
but
Lathander is the god that she has for her clerical side. So that's why this amulet, I figured I would flavor it up and be like, oh, maybe I could use this to help with this particular thing. But I am not a main cleric. I think you are technically the main cleric here.
and that's sad.
And I think
Yes.
it's perfectly fine for you guys to get a little bit crunchy and mechanical about this. You know,
I will say to Bright, you don't have much experience as a cleric. You are just started the ways of Lathander, and he is the deity of renewal, birth, creativity. If anybody's gonna do this, you can do it. And I will touch her shoulder, and I will send forth a second level like energy of cleric energy into her, if that is possible.
Okay, it sounds like you want to try to help her out somehow.
I want to kind of magnify. Level. Yeah, I just kind of want to magnify what she's doing.
Okay, and what skill would you want to roll to try to make that happen?
I think that for this particular, with me trying to help Bright, it would be a religion check.
Okay. And you said you wanted to expend some spell energy. What spell do you want to cast?
Not so much focusing on a spell, but more just focusing raw divine power into her, to where she might be able to do more than what she normally would be able to do.
Well, here's what I'm thinking. Now, I'm looking at your character sheet, and I see, Yagvin, that you have a certain spell on your list.
Sure do.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say, I want you to cast that spell on her, and she will carry that into her body like she's a battery, and she can use this to increase the effect of her roll that she's gonna make later.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a position, and I'm going to say this is a controlled position, which means you guys are not in danger at the moment, and it doesn't take a great deal of time to cast that spell. And the effect is, it sounds to me like Bright wants to cast a 5th level spell, even though she doesn't know it. She's relying on the power of the Lathander amulet that she remade. You know, she called upon the holy powers and was able to mend this amulet. So it seems like she can do this, you know, but she needs a little bit of help. So you're going to give her 2 spell slots worth of energy. And she's going to have to expend 3 more spell slots worth of energy to cast this 5th level spell. You guys see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Do you think that's something that you can handle?
I can do it.
Okay. Yagvin, I want you to make a religion check for me, and you can do that
Will do.
in the tower. And do you guys
before I roll this, I will use inspiration.
Okay, very very smart. This is a big one.
I don't have any inspiration left, unfortunately.
You get one at the beginning.
Everybody starts with 1 inspiration at the very least. If you have more than
wonderful.
1, then you don't get any extras. But everybody starts with 1 inspiration.
Okay. Wonderful.
Yagvin, tell me how you succeeded.
As I put my hand on the shoulder of Bright, I kind of close my robotic eyes, and all the runes go black for a second, and then they burst with blue light that transfers into Bright and circles around her until she
Hey.
casts a spell.
Okay. So, Bright, you have been imbued with holy magical energy. Maybe it feels a little weird because it's coming from a robot, but it's also coming from a god. So it's this weird sensation. Like maybe you feel like your powers of visual calculus and comprehension of like mechanical things just slightly increases for a moment, and you're gaining some clarity of thought. So here's what I'll tell you. What you're trying to do is you're trying to cast a 5th level spell that you don't know. So that's automatically it's going to be risky. It's going to be a risky thing. And I'm using one of 3 different words to kind of describe how difficult something is. It's based on the level of danger that you guys are under. So for Yogvin, I gave him a controlled position because you guys are not in danger. But the spell that you're trying to cast is a lot more difficult, and it's going to take a little bit more time. And I think time is the big factor here that will basically determine how risky and dangerous this is. So I'm going to give you a couple of options. You can have a controlled position, but it's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take 2 minutes.
Okay.
Or you can have a... Sorry, go ahead.
Did that use both my 2nd level spell slots?
You used one earlier when you cast Aid.
Yeah, but I got it back from my channel divinity.
Oh, did you
I
check
checked
it
one off
Okay,
yeah.
go ahead and fix it. I wasn't paying attention.
Fine. Just wanted to double check.
You're good. So you still have one left, Yagvin.
Indeed.
So Bright, you can either have the controlled position, but in order to get that level of control, you have to spend more time. So you have to allow the wall to come closer to you. You got to spend 2 minutes casting the spell. And then if you want to do it a little bit faster, then you have to make a risky check. And that's going to be a little bit harder. The DC is going to be a little higher, but it's only going to take 90 seconds. And then finally, you can make a desperate roll. And when things are desperate, it means the DC is quite high. But if you do succeed in that, then it will only take you 1 minute to cast the spell. Now, another thing I'm going to institute is failing forward. With weird stuff like this, where the rules are not clearly defined in the dungeon manual, I want to make it so that you guys can succeed. But if you don't roll high enough, then maybe there's like a consequence that happens in addition. And for those who know, I'm borrowing this directly from a game that I started learning recently called Blades in the Dark. And I highly recommend anyone to go check out Blades in the Dark. I love that game so much, and I'm learning a lot of awesome lessons. The goal with this game is to keep the action moving and to portray you guys as skilled experts in your craft. So, Bright, you've spent so much time in that church. You were under solitary confinement, and that had a profound effect on you. Not only do you have this dual domain thing going on, but you can also make amazing things happen that are outside of the reach of a normal D&D character. So even if you don't get a perfect success, then you can still succeed, but I'll have to add some sort of consequence. Maybe the next thing you do after you pass this will be a little harder. Or maybe it takes you a little bit more time than you thought it would, and I move the wall forward even more. Or maybe something else happens. We just kind of come up with it on the fly. We kind of deliberate and see if it feels like it's fair. So this is something brand new. I just think it's very fun and interesting, and it gives you guys a great chance of succeeding. And even if you fail, it makes the game more interesting because we just keep piling little complications on, and then you guys have to react on the fly. So I'm not going to kill you guys as a result of this, okay? I just want to make that clear. But I do think it'll be fun if we can figure out how to do this in a D20 system, because Blades in the Dark is mainly just a D6 system. So I sat down and did some number crunching, and I think I have a pretty good idea of how a D20 version would go. So with that said, I'm going to give you a moment to think. I'm not going to have you answer the question yet. I'm going to pass the turn to someone else, but you have the option of a controlled or a risky or a desperate action. And you decide what skill you want to roll. And you have to justify why you want to use that skill. And the more sense it makes, the better your odds are. But you can pick any skill roll for any reason. You can make a medicine check or a religion check or anything. So with that said, I'm going to pass the turn to Edvard Thar, who just got done lighting torches, and he sees that that the group is kind of ganging up around Marlin. What are your thoughts about all this? Is there anything else you can add or contribute, or do you want to do something else?
The only thing I can think of is a medicine check, but I don't really know how he would do that. So I'm just going to sit over here at the corner. I use my movement and my action to make that happen. And just keep an eye out for the wall.
Okay.
Edvard, than I thought it was.
You see the wall is slowly but steadily crunching up the whole entire fucking hallway. It is devouring the floor and the walls and the ceiling. It's like a giant plate of death, larger than the hallway itself, is pressing forward and just disintegrating everything within 5 feet of it. Just crunch, crunch, crunch. It seems like nothing is standing in this thing's way. Now you guys feel free to count squares and find out exactly how much time you have. You guys have a 2-minute option, which is an easy check to pass. Or you guys have a 90-second option, which is a little bit harder. Or you have a desperate option, which is even faster than that, but it's also a little bit harder to pass. And when I say that, I mean a pass with no consequences. For example, if you guys make a controlled... I'll go ahead and let you know what the DCs are, because this is important for you to understand. If you guys make a controlled check, you guys are making this action, you're taking this time, and you let 2 minutes pass, you got to pass a DC 13 religion check. But if you get a DC, if you roll like after you add all your modifiers, if you get a 7 through a 12, then that's a success with a consequence. And that means you passed, but also it allows me, the GM, to complicate your situation somehow and make things worse for you later. It's a consequence of how risky things are in the dungeon. So that's for a control roll that forces the wall to move forward by 2 minutes. And then for a risky roll, it's a DC 17 religion check, for example, or any check. It could be any check. I'm just use religion because you're casting a divine spell, so religion feels like it's the right check. If you get an 11 on your roll, an 11 through a 16, then you still succeed, but I'm allowed to complicate things for you just a little bit. And then there is, of course, the desperate roll, where you are trying to get this done as fast as possible because that wall is coming in hot and you don't know what's coming. You could run into anything. It could slow you down for minutes. Maybe you have to boil an egg. That takes 3 minutes. Anything could be coming up in the dungeon, and nobody has checked to see what's around the corner yet. So, in order to make this desperate roll, you need to hit a DC 21. But if you hit a 15 through 20, then you still succeed. But that allows me to complicate things for you. And because it's a desperate roll, then I'm allowed to complicate things a little bit more than I normally would. Because things are dicey. You're bound to make mistakes. You guys are all experts. But if the stress is piling on and things are hard, you're bound to make mistakes. So that's my interpretation of the rules from Blades in the Dark. I'm allowed to make things a little bit more stressful for you, and then just watch you guys dance, see what happens. And then if you get a 14 or lower on that desperate roll, then you fail. That means you don't get the effect that you want, and I get to add a complication. So
I'm just gonna let the group know that the wall's 110 feet from Bright.
110 feet.
110 feet.
That's 11 rounds, Cotton. Is that 11?
11 rounds.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. 24 rounds away from Bright's current position. So you guys didn't watch the wall come around the corner, so you don't know exactly how that works. But
No.
yeah, it's important to observe things.
We're trying to get away from it as quickly as possible.
So the place where you're currently sitting, Bright, will be consumed by the wall within 24 rounds. Just throwing that out there.
So my what I would like to do is be oh my god, I just had a brain fart. I would like to do the safe option to help Marlon out, so I will sit here for two minutes to help him out.
Okay.
And relieve him of this Wraith's curse thing, so that he will be back to his regular maximum hit points.
Okay. So, a couple other things I'll say. You are trying to cast a spell that is beyond your depth. So,
I've already marked off the spell slots for that.
The first thing I was going to ask you to do was to check off 3 levels worth of spell. It looks like you checked off all your first level.
Done.
And then you have 2 built in because Yogvin was gracious enough to spare some of his precious energy. And now I want you to... I checked
off 3 of them.
I want you to tell me if this is the spot where you want to make this check, or do you want to move Marlin before you...
No, I wanted to, ask if I could move a little bit closer to the center of the hallway at least.
Go ahead and move yourself, Bright, and then I will move Marlin. Well, Marlin can move if he wants to move.
What's everybody crowd me for?
Over here. Come on over here. Let's give you some space.
Oh, and by the way,
get out of here.
By the way, does Marlin consent to all this? He's being.
I want to know what you crowd me for.
A bunch of mother hens over here clucking.
Yeah. What do you crowd me for? We're trying to go the other way.
Come on over here so that we can help you, get back to your sprightly old self.
Marlin, I'm just spewing out blood.
Marlin, you see another dragon statue enter the hall, and beyond it, there seems to be a flickering firelight.
Oh God, another dragon fire.
Let's get you fixed up so I can shove my hand in another dragon.
What? Oh, okay. I thought you were talking. No, I'm not gonna be your puppet. No, you're not sticking your hand nowhere near me.
It's either her or me.
Oh my gosh.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and move the wall 1 square.
Wonderful. So
to represent the deliberation.
I remember Marlon mentioned that he was patting me to give me some guidance, but I don't know if that was proper.
That is.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and cast that spell, Marlin. Drag and drop that.
Well, I can do it either before or after the check, according to the spell.
It would.
According to the spell, if she doesn't need it, I mean, it'll still go off, but.
Oh, you have to give it to her and then concentrate, and then she can choose to use it.
It'll take a minute.
Within 1 minute.
It says it can it can roll the die before or after making the ability check. Is
Wonderful.
What it says. I can do it before or after.
Cool.
If you want me to roll it now, that's fine. I don't care. Or put it on her, but.
How about that? I never even knew that.
I have a feeling. I have a feeling that I have to throw this in the tower.
It's fine. I will put it on you.
I mean, it costs nothing,
Yeah.
We'll just consider that to be an effect.
All right. Where is Bright? There you go.
Thank you.
On you, I think. Yes,
really
there it
cool.
is.
Yes.
I didn't know. Somehow I didn't even know that. That is so flexible. I love that. You can use
Guidance
it
is
before or
lovely.
after. You can turn a failure into a success. That is so versatile. Somehow,
So,
I didn't know
All
that.
right. I don't know what this will do, but here, hopefully, this helps you in your
I
endeavor.
feel so energized.
Um,
I think I
Ed-
want to do medicine as the skill to check since it is healing. Um
And,
let's
and
see.
guidance would tell you to do whatever you have the highest. Yeah.
Yes.
okay. That
And
is that.
I will use my inspiration to make it at advantage.
Gotcha. So let's hang on to that. You're not going to roll just yet, but we're going to keep in mind that you're
Of
going to
course
roll
not.
with advantage. You've got a certain number of boons and benefits going your way, and you're doing it in a controlled setting. You're allowing as much time to pass as possible to make sure you get it done right, which means I get
Uh-huh.
to move the wall forward a lot,
Yes.
which is great.
Yes.
Now here's the thing:
The DM has
As
to
the
have a
wall
little fun
moves,
too, you
I'm
know.
moving back.
are you moving? You're moving back.
I think you should stay there.
How
No,
close
I'm
are
keep-
you? How, how close of a watch are you gonna keep? Because you don't know if this thing's gonna lurch forward. You don't know if it's gonna stop and start going backwards. Tell me what you want to do. Oh, and by the way, the kobolds are kind of staring at the corpses laying on the ground in front of you, Edvard. They're staring at the corpses of other kobolds. They seem to be thinking of something.
I'm gonna wait until it gets up to the grate that I unlocked for the kobolds before I start moving back.
Okay.
Um, if it
Yagvin. Go ahead. Go ahead.
if it looks like it's gonna start speeding up, I'll dash if I have to go away. But I want to catch one of the eyes of the kobolds while they're looking at their dead companions, and just unsheath my sword a little bit, just to show the blade a little bit, and then clink it back in.
Do you want to make a roll for that?
I'll make a roll.
What kind of roll do you want to make?
I feel like that would be intimidation, even though charisma is like my least skill.
All right. What kind of what are you trying to do? You trying to scare them? Like what are you trying to make them do?
Just if there's even a thought of them having revenge, I want them to rethink it.
Okay. I'm gonna say this is a controlled roll because it's quick and easy, and you'll have a standard effect. You know, they're gonna pay attention exactly what you're telling them to do, even though you don't know Draconic. I think they can understand your body language. So go ahead and give me an intimidate check in the tower.
You just gonna ask him if you want it in the tower or not?
Okay. Yeah, they see you make this threatening gesture and they back off. Their eyes avert from what they were looking at, and they start making their way down the hall. As a matter of fact, they start coming down this way, and then they come upon Bright, and they pause. They're watching you intently, maybe with a little bit of fear. Not every day they get to see this ashen dark-skinned winged creature performing creepy rituals on even creepier old men. And you're doing this on their hero, so they're watching you very carefully. As a matter of fact, Edvard, you are now left alone, and there are some corpses laying there on the ground in front of you. As a matter of fact, it kind of looks like they have some junk that they left behind when they died, strapped to their corpses. Do you think you have the time to search the bodies?
Sounds like he wants you to search the bodies.
I'm gonna move the wall forward by 5 feet.
As long as I'm not going anywhere past that grate, yeah, I'll search the bodies.
Okay. I'm gonna say this is risky, because this wall is moving slowly but steadily, and it will take you a little bit of time. What kind of roll do you want to make?
Strength roll.
Strength check? You want to bash the bodies until gold falls out?
No, let's go with insight. Insight wouldn't work, would it?
It might.
Yeah, let's go with insight.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Insight onto where they're hiding their loot on their bodies,
Ooh, that's creative.
and
That's creative. But man, because insight is normally for determining a motive. The motive of a corpse is to lay there and look still.
that's fair.
be still.
Well,
But if you want to do it,
yeah, because a +8 is way better than a +1.
all right. I'm gonna say this is now desperate. This is gonna be a little bit harder. But here's the thing: if you succeed, you'll find more stuff.
Okay, I'll use my inspiration.
Okay,
That's advantage.
go ahead and roll that in the tower. Wow. So you're sitting here. Can you describe your thought process? You're using your insight to try to glean where the stuff is, where the
If I was
goodies
a
are.
cobalt sorcerer, where would I hide my loot? If it's a bad roll, then I'm searching in the cobalt purse, if you know what I mean. Prisoner purse. Yeah. If it's a good roll, I'm searching like the belt area and their actual body.
Okay. I'm gonna say this takes 1d4 rounds for you to search. A 1. So I'm moving the wall forward by 1 square. It's now round 30. And here's what you find. I'm going to add a couple things to the party sheet. So on the body of the kobold sorcerer, who was split in half, by the way, you find.
I was searching 2 bodies for the price of 1.
Yes, yeah. I'm gonna tell you about the other one as well. I'm just checking over something real quick. Because I told you I would give you a greater effect if you succeeded, and you definitely did. You got a natural 20, buddy, so you got a 28. So I'm just changing the parcel to give you a little bit more stuff. So on the body of the kobold sorcerer, you find some interesting things. The first thing you find is a stash of coins. This guy had a huge backpack full of copper coins. And those should be added to the party sheet, right? Sitting there next to all of that.
Yep.
Sitting there next to all that electrum.
It's a small loan.
I don't know why no one's grabbed the electrum yet. That's weird.
I wonder why.
I have, but it doesn't update.
It doesn't?
No, I took the 300.
I'm so bad at this game. I'm so sorry, guys.
You can have it. It's okay.
If you...
You're
I
good at
have
the game,
all
you're
the
bad at playing
electro.
it.
I'm changing that to 13 to
I
reflect the amount.
swear.
So the kobold sorcerer had 13 electrum in addition to everything else you see, excuse me, listed on the parcel right now for your coins. And he also had some other stuff. He had a ceremonial electrum dagger with a black pearl in the pommel. He also had a component pouch. He had a pierced dragon scale. Looks like it might be valuable. He had a couple vials of basic poison. And then 2 tightly wrapped and sealed magical scrolls, which have yet to be identified among the others that have yet to be identified. And then you also search the body of another kobold, and this guy looked like he was some sort of acolyte of a deity. And I'm going to add his items to the party sheet as well. On him, you find a curved dagger made out of bone. You find another pierced dragon scale. It seems like perhaps they were part of a cult that worshipped dragons. It's a very large red scale with a hole through it, and he wore it as an amulet. It was like that was his divine amulet. It was a big old dragon scale He also had a vial of poison. He had 2 potions on him, and then yet another tightly wrapped arcane scroll. So I have added all of those items to the party sheet, and you guys can grab amongst yourselves. Right now, it's mainly going to be Edvard. He's got all the stuff from all the kobolds, basically, at his disposal. He's like a little hoarder over there.
What you got there, friend?
What you got there, friendo?
I got a cool new knife, and I make sure Yogvin sees the Electrum dagger.
You throw it at Yogvin, and it accidentally integrates into his mainframe.
No. I just keep it. I'm holding it, showing him. Look at this cool dagger.
It'd be a shame if somebody pushed you into a moving spike while one in it.
Hey, speaking
Wanna
of
grapple?
which,
Want to grapple for it?
I'm gonna pass to Yogvin. What is going on with Yogvin? He has just kind of been.
I am having a panic attack over how much Electrum we have found in this dungeon so far.
I want you to make a wisdom saving throw in the tower.
Gotcha.
And if we were using
Just
all,
for
go for it, man.
yeah, sure. Why not?
Praetor.
You know, let's see how much the Electrum's really getting to me.
Oof, man, you only got an 18. That is not enough to do.
Oh, okay.
with
So
that
I'm
high
still
level of stress.
fine. I'm still
If we were
fine.
playing with all the other rules I want to implement, I would burn 2 of your stress. That is for a game yet to come. But in the meantime, Yogvin,
Call me up for it.
Since I've kind of done everything in the Bright and Marlin situation that I was able to do,
yeah,
I will go down here and kind of make sure nothing comes up behind us or in
really,
front of us.
okay.
Yeah.
So you trample the corpse of this poor child as you
No,
walk
no.
by?
I
going on?
when during
Jesus Christ,
during
man.
the no during when Bright was repairing it, halfway through repairing it, I went and prepared the body for it to be arrested by making sure that there wasn't trash with it, laying it in a orderly fashion because it was just bones, right?
You're referring to the child corpse?
Yes, the child corpse.
It was bones as well as some decrepit garments and stuff. It did not seem to have anything valuable when you slashed through it with your burning sword. Perhaps you destroyed the valuables on your way to
Maybe,
desecrating
but,
the corpse.
That's
We did put
part of the
shoes back
job.
on him,
If this was
too.
Pathfinder, you would have fallen from grace as a paladin.
I would have I would have tidied up the garments and made sure they're orderly fashion, folded and stuff. And then I will walk around the corpse making sure not to step on it.
So you stomp disrespectfully
Curb
past
stomp the skull.
past the corpse.
Quick and easy.
Quick and easy.
Oh my gosh.
And let's see, what do you see, Yogvin? Yeah. So I can see your vision. Something interesting looms ahead. It looks sort of like a wall of fire, just around the bend.
Wow.
And of course, yet another dragon statue looms directly in front of you.
Yeah, I don't like
I'll
that.
have my hands on it soon enough.
I will just as a bonus action since
so
I don't have it. I will summon my my echo to my direct north of my token.
Okay. Yeah. Let me just go ahead and turn on the show NPC button. And there you go. You see this this echo appear. It's looking just as placid and bewildered as you do.
And I will just make sure that the wall of fire doesn't go up or down, or something runs through it, or the wall of fire itself is something. And that'll be just what I'm doing.
I'm going to go ahead and read you a little bit of flavor text. Directly ahead is what can only be described as a roaring wall of flame. The obstacle completely blocks the hallway. Looking past the flames, you can see at least one more threatening wall of energy awaiting you. This wall of flame seems to give off hardly any heat, despite its appearance of intensity. Set into the stone floor, about 5 feet in front of the wall of flames, is an unusual mosaic. A pale, bell-shaped creature is depicted floating along. It has 2 long eye stalks and a lazy, puckered mouth. The smell of embers thinly masks a surprisingly potent stench that seems to emanate from the mosaic itself. And that is what you perceive at the moment, Yagvin Brabeln. And with that,
Would I be able to identify the creature that's in the?
you might. What kind of roll would you like to make to try and identify this thing?
Probably something upon the lines of nature, I would assume.
Nature?
Yeah.
Is that really what you want to roll?
Not really, but I think that's the most.
Damn.
I mean, I'm gonna be real. It ain't my strong. It ain't my strong suit, but I think that it fits probably the subject at hand.
Go ahead and make a roll in the tower. Yeah. This is a totally controlled thing. Let's see. Nothing comes to mind when you think of the natural world and the creatures that inhabit it. The surface world, the world of the forests and the seas and the sky. Nothing really comes to mind. Perhaps this required a different sort of knowledge check.
Yeah.
But for now, let's just say that at this point, unless anybody has anything pressing, I'm going to have Bright make her roll, and we're going to move the clock.
Then I think it's time for Edvard to move.
It very well might be.
Nah, you're fine.
You see Edvard cartwheel out of the way. He
Make sure
runs.
you still have the dagger on you when you sit
flees
around that corner.
heedlessly. And then it takes 2 minutes for the wall to come around the corner.
Oh, so what goodies you have, friend? You're all jingly today.
He jingles and jangles.
I'm keeping the
Jingle
dagger,
jangles.
and I'm keeping one of the pierced dragon scales and wearing it as a necklace, but other than that, y'all can have at it.
Badass. When you put on that necklace, you can see that the kobolds, it has some sort of effect on them. Their eyes widen as you put on that necklace. Something's going on in their heads. Bright, I want you to make a religion check in the tower with advantage.
Oh. Okay.
We're moving the wall.
Marlon, can you uncheck? Can you stop the guidance for a second?
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, hang on a second.
Before I roll away.
Now that guidance only lasts a minute, FYI.
Yep.
Yeah.
And as a cantrip, he can just throw it on you again.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what happens. Can you describe the ritual?
Oh, I was gonna use medicine. Is that not part of this?
You're using medicine,
Oh,
but you are
okay.
still gonna have to cast the spell.
Okay.
You're using your knowledge of medicine to kind of guide the spell's energy just into the right spot. But just, if you would, give us a couple moments of exposition.
All right. She is going to do her best to call upon the blessings of Lathander, using the amulet as, I guess, a focus, a one-time focus, to try and bring this powerful spell through her and into Marlin. Try and help him out to get rid of this Wraith's curse thing. And, it's gonna be nice and sparkly, very pink and blue, lovely. It's gonna keep focusing real hard to not stare at the wall that's coming up behind them.
The kobolds have no idea.
Yeah,
I know,
they are
right?
raptly focused on Bright and her ritual.
So it's very sparkly, it's very shiny, it's colorful. It's a very glittery and shimmery affair.
Awesome. So you
yeah.
you dip your fingers in the jar of glitter, you sprinkle it all over his face, and you successfully cast Greater Restoration on Marlin.
Wonderful.
You take your time, you really focus, and the wall edges ever closer, and it's actually quite loud and threatening. But when you started casting, it was a controlled position. So
Yeah.
let's see.
I knew what was coming.
Even if it was risky, you would have passed. Like, you got a total of an 18.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so not bad at all. Not bad at all. Especially with advantage, that really, really helps.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Religion is not my strongest.
Oh, you made a religion check. I thought you were. Oh, I asked for a
you
religion
asked
check.
me. You
I'm sorry.
asked for
So yeah,
religion.
I'm learning. I'm still learning. I'm supposed to not ask what. I'm not supposed to ask for a check. You're supposed to tell me what the check is. That's the habit I need to break. That's what comes from Blades in the Dark. I have to break the habit of asking you to make a specific skill check. You had to tell me what skill you want to roll. You should have pushed back on me.
Oh, that's why I was confused about the medicine. I was like, oh, this must be separate from what I'm doing. Okay.
So it would have been a 21.
Well,
so that
then
means you
the
would have even
guidance
passed
would
the
have
desperate
counted.
check. No, you're
The
good.
guidance would have counted.
You're good.
Okay.
Marlon, I'm going to do a couple things to your character sheet real quick. First thing is,
No.
I'm going to remove the Cursed Embrace, which means you're no longer hindered by 22 hit points. And then we're going to change your maximum hit points from 13 to 35.
Oh, goody.
The magic was too potent. We actually make him 10 years younger.
It's so potent.
He's back to his pride.
and he loses 10 years worth of memories.
Yep.
Oh my god.
That
Oh,
would be
those 10
horrifying.
years, I don't care about those.
Oh,
Marlon.
those years were rough, my friend. I know what's going
Yeah,
on.
they were. Yeah. I'd like to lose those 10 years.
Can you try that again? You didn't. I still have a kink in the back of my brain.
Can you desperately fail and make me forget about this whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
All right, Bright. So
All right.
you have made the roll. You have paid the price. You are bereft of first level spell slots, and the wall looms right in front of you. And we are gonna. Let's see. That is
Hi there.
round 57.
Hello there, Wall.
I don't know what you did, but I sure feel a lot better. Thank
Gave
you.
you Viagra.
You're so welcome. Now let's skedaddle, because there may or may not be something very shiny and spewy coming up behind us.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, let's go.
Give me just a second,
yeah.
guys.
I heard that elephant.
Thank you.
He's gonna need more than one for that age.
You guys are real funny.
And then Sheets had brought up the spewy wall.
Bunch of comedians.
Okay.
I try.
I did the counting. I did the math. We are on round 48. You guys have
Wait a
spent
minute.
several
Okay.
minutes.
Somebody check that. This guy's in the army.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. 58. I gotta move the wall again.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh.
I am the only survivor.
Yogvin, you get teleported out of the
Yagvin
dungeon.
is the only one.
Straight to the bar. The goal was to kill all
been
your
real.
friends. That's
Yeah,
Oh
I did
my
it.
gosh.
I did it.
You are now chaotic evil.
Good.
Oh,
As I've
Lord.
always been.
All right,
I
guys.
just forgot about it.
So we had our fun. We got to have a little bit of free play, but unfortunately the dungeon does not allow us to do this forever. So at this time, we're going to jump right back into initiative. Things are going to slow down now. We're going moment by moment. So with that said,
Glorious.
we're in round 48. Bright, it's your turn. What happens next?
Alright. So, checking up on Marlon. He's looking good. He's looking fine, like his normal old self.
Yeah,
It's as good as
I'm
it's
ready
going to
to
get.
do. Yeah, I'm ready to
Yeah,
go to the
like
dance
he's
now.
back to normal. Wonderful.
Such as it is.
I will I will open my fanciful wings yet again to go up ahead. It's like, ha, now there's a dragon's head with my name on it. I'm gonna dash my way over here.
You sail over Yagvin's head. And what do you see down there as you look off to your right?
Alright, so let's see. Finally, in the traces of light coming down south, there's fire. There's Oh, I don't know what that is after the fire. Is that lightning or air? And then it looks like water? I'm assuming it's a little bit of all the elements because I see fire and then I see something kind of white. It looks a little airy. And then something possibly a little earthy, or is it just more fire? And then it's watery, icy down south. With another dragon head in the corner with my name on it.
These are all good questions. These are all good observations. Bright,
Yeah,
is
she'll
there
definitely
any
sit down that
action you
way.
can take? You've taken a movement so far.
Well, no, I dash, so that takes up my whole action. Because
That's
I can
right.
only fly 30 feet. So I have a bonus action left over, which it doesn't seem like anybody is in need of any healing currently.
I will remind you that you can always make a perception or investigation check with a bonus action.
Oh, yeah. I will do the perception.
Okay, make that
On
an
the
attack.
dragon head,
Yeah.
as usual.
Okay. I need to learn to move my little pins off of where you're going to stand, Bright, because you like to straddle these dragon statues.
You should have calculated for that.
She really does. She's
Bright, you learn a couple things from this exceptionally good perception check. I'm going to allow you to notice a couple things. Number one, this dragon
Wonderful.
statue looks just like the others. It looks like there's a hole large enough for your hand to stick into. It looks like there is some sort of a mechanism you can grasp way in the back because you do the mirror trick once again. And funny enough, the light comes from the wall of fire. You kind of glint your mirror off the light from the wall of fire to the south, and sure enough, it looks like a very familiar crank that you can grasp and twist. And then there is another cage, a stone cage made out of the fingers of this dragon. Looks like there's another pouch, which you presume maybe has some money in it. It looks like there is yet another pinkish crystal sitting on a little pillow. And then there are 4 tightly wrapped and sealed magical scrolls sitting in a tiny little bundle all together. But you don't know what they are. And then you think back and you realize, oh, I have a couple more of those in my inventory right now. Huh. Weird.
Yep, that is it. I'm preparing for a lot of that.
Gotcha. Bright, I think that's it for your turn.
It sure is.
All right, moving on to Edvard Thar. Edvard, new king of the kobolds. What happens next, my friend?
Edvard randomly thinks if he ever gets out of here, he's going to enslave an army of goblins.
Not
Oh my
kobolds.
gosh.
You're already in with the kobolds, man. You're gonna work the goblin angle instead.
Yeah.
I'm digging
Goblin
it.
King Edvard sounds a lot better than Kobold King.
Goblins taste better anyway. Ask Verm and Zosa.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
you
live
don't know
What?
literally on a diet of peanuts and
Oh, boy.
alcohol, so it doesn't really matter.
Why is Verm?
Oh, I forgot to narrate the scene where Zosa killed and dismembered Verm and ate his brains.
Oh, my bad.
It's a delicacy where I come from. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Edvard.
I'm going to just mention to Marlin that I found these scrolls. They might be useful to him. If he wants them, he can have them. I'm just going to leisurely stroll 30 feet.
Marlin, will you take the scrolls that he's offering?
Sure.
Go ahead and take them
Sure.
physically
right.
from the party sheet into your inventory.
Yep. Hang on a second. This one, that one, I don't know if it took it. It does not look like it. Hang on a second. Here we go. Got that. 1, 2, and 1, 2.
Okay.
Okay, got them.
So I will let you know that when you look these over, they are immediately recognizable. And I have hit the identified button on those scrolls for you, just for your information. And then
Okay, thank you.
Edvard, you move forward 30 feet. What happens next?
I'll move a little bit. I'll use my dash, I guess, to move a little bit more.
Okay. Yeah, Edvard, you're standing in front of this roaring wall of fire. I'm going to read the description again real quick. Directly ahead is what can only be described as a roaring wall of flames. The obstacle completely blocks the hallway. Looking past the flames, you can see several more threatening walls of energy awaiting you. The wall in front of you seems to be giving off hardly any heat, despite its appearance of intensity. And set into the stone floor right in front of you, there is an unusual mosaic. A pale, bell-shaped creature is depicted floating along. It has 2 long eye stalks and a lazy, puckered mouth. The smell of embers thinly masks a surprisingly potent stench that seems to emanate from the mosaic itself. What happens next?
Edvard's gonna look at the mosaic and try to investigate that and the wall, see if there's any like hints on how to turn off the fire from the wall or from the mosaic.
I don't think we were supposed to see that.
No.
See what? I didn't see nothing.
Don't worry about it.
I saw a quick flash and I was just
You didn't see nothing. Y'all just shut up. I don't know how to use this program.
Neither do we.
There's only somebody that could have helped you do that during the,
I know, man. I'm sorry. I just my time is limited. But thank you, Edvard. You were saying?
But yeah, I'm just trying to perceive if there's any hints, like any clues onto how to turn off the fiery wall.
Okay. What kind of roll do you want to make to try to divine that?
I think I hinted at it. I said I want to perceive, so I'm going to use perception.
Gotcha. Go ahead and make that roll in the tower. This will use.
I think you should use nature.
Okay. So, you notice upon the mosaic is a faint, shimmering shape. It's like a tiny little symbol is glimmering off of the flames, like it's like a tiny portion of the mosaic is coated in oil or something. It just glimmers and shimmers as you turn your head this way and that. But beyond that, it's hard to make out anything noteworthy. And do we still have Bright on the line?
Believe so. She just said she was going to go check it out.
Okay. Sounds like we might have some technical difficulties from Bright, so we will try to carry on as best we can. I believe I know what Bright wants to do.
It's pretty hard to tell.
Gonna shove her hand or her whole head into the dragon statue and marry it.
If only she had a pretty sensitive tail, she could just reach in there with that.
Well, she picked wings, so there's not much I can do about that. Edvard, I think you've passed your turn. Okay.
Yes, I have.
All right, moving on. The kobolds, they one of them runs up to Marlin and just kind of stays close, and this kobold is watching the wall very intently, and he's kind of like gesturing to Marlin like, and he to Marlin he's saying, "We need to move. We're gonna get swallowed up." And the other kobold, he rushes. He rushes down the hallway. That's about as far as he gets. He slows down and comes to a stop around the corner. He has wonder and fear in his eyes. It seems like he's never seen this hallway before in his entire life. Like, his whole life was in the hallway that just got destroyed by the wall. He's not supposed to be here, ladies and gentlemen, and yet here he stands, an adventurer just like all of you. Yagvin.
He's definitely gonna die.
No,
he's definitely.
do you say that in Draconic? You're like,
no,
you're definitely gonna die.
I'm just thinking that.
He's like,
this
no!
poor guy.
Do you know Draconic?
Yeah,
Okay,
I sure do.
Yeah. So you can be the one to deliver this grim message.
No, I'm good. Yeah, I kind of want to run through the wall of fire, but at the same time I don't. So I'm just gonna look for any levers, maybe some false floors, false wall.
That sounds like you want to make a roll. What kind of roll do you want
Sure
to make?
do. I think for that, investigation would probably be the roll for that.
Okay, let's go ahead and
Once
make
again, not great at it, but I'm gonna be fair.
Yeah, and I'm flexible. You can make perception or investigation. This allows an intellect-based characters to still notice things. So it's sometimes it's really important. Sometimes not so much.
Well, perception is one better, so there you go.
All right. So you take in your surroundings, and perhaps you're just distracted by all of the shenanigans going on behind you, with Bright sticking her head up the dragon statue's mouth, and the kobold just kind of hooping and hollering about, like,
I've never been this far before. I surely will survive the whole dungeon, even though I
I'm
lived in that
gonna kill you.
hallway.
Just,
I believe in you, little friend.
he looks,
I don't.
the kobold gives Bright a quizzical look, as if to say, what? Because you don't
like
speak
we don't
Draconic.
understand each other. He just sounds quite happy, it seems, and I'm just like it's like the meme of like How to Train Your Dragon with the thumbs up in the background. Yes, good job, friend. Like this.
Yagvin, you don't really learn anything, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Still have an
I was
action if you
expecting
want.
that. You know what? We're gonna test something out. My echo's gonna go through the wall of fire.
Okay. You send the echo forth, and as it starts to pass, it looks back at you. It has this desperate look, like, please don't do this. And then
It's alright.
it passes through and is immediately destroyed.
Aw, so it isn't fake. Well, that sucks. Okay, I summon him again.
And then
Bad.
he reappears, and his arms are folded. Like, what the hell was that?
Sorry.
What the hell, man?
Figure that out.
Oh, hi, Yagvin's ghost. How are you today?
Yogvin's ghost.
I think we need to get these two to couples.
Yagvin's
therapy.
echo just kind of throws his nose in the air. Just stands there with his hands crossed in front of him.
Don't make me make you go back in there.
Don't make me send you back in time.
that will be my turn.
Awesome. Marlon, my friend, you were being encouraged by your friendly kobold companion to head away from this wall of doom.
Oh,
But what do you
not
do?
needing any encouragement whatsoever. He will move his 20 feet. Well, before he moves, he'll pat this one on the head that's kind of stuck beside him and say in Kobold, we need to go. And then he will, well, I won't call it a dash. Nothing he does is a dash, but
Yeah.
he will take an extra movement.
You know, it's so funny because you feel amazing.
Yeah, but I still can't go very fast.
You still can't go very fast, but man, if you aren't right back to where you were before you got cursed by that
I
thing,
feel amazing, yeah.
they worked a wonder. They worked a wonder on you, and yeah, you feel great. Now, one thing I will say is, as you walk by this little corpse, you just kind of behold it and realize that, it seems that the group has just forgotten about this poor little girl.
We don't have
As he
time.
walks past it, his memories flood back to when he taught in Candlekeep, and he remembers little girls that could have been this one's sister or whatever maybe. But yeah, he Actually, he's gonna stop. Forget it. This would be him. He's gonna stop right there, wherever she's at. That's her.
Yeah.
I thought we handled the remains before we ended last time.
Well, I want you to
I don't
think.
remember now.
I want you to think on that for just a moment. But there was a different plan in motion, and maybe I accidentally overstepped and steered you away from that course of action. But by mentioning Marlin's condition, but I believe you were gonna do something
fair.
with that corpse that was not done yet.
Anyway, as he's getting to this point, all these memories flood back of all the children over the years that he taught, and his heartstrings are tugged just a little. So he kneels down and he touches the head, and he's going to cast a ritual spell, gentle repose, on this small skeleton.
Okay. I heard you say you wanted to cast a ritual.
I'm sorry. Did I? Okay, I might have.
Well, let me just double check. So
It's
the way the rituals normally work is that it takes 10 minutes longer than the normal casting time.
Well, it's.
And you
If
don't.
you
say
if
it
you
has-
cast it as a ritual, it takes 10 minutes longer.
Well.
But do you have it
Yeah.
prepared? I think you
Of course,
actually
yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Which means
All my
you're-
rituals are. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. In that case, you can just cast it. It won't be a ritual. It'll just be a normal one-action casting. So
Okay.
you'll check off a second level slot
All right.
or something higher than that.
Yep. He will do it. He will do it at third level because he does not have a second level available.
Okay.
But yeah, he as he touches the little skull, he not only produces the spell, but a little bit. He's not a religious man by any means. He's arcane, but a little prayer inside of him. A wish maybe, not the wish spell, but just a wish that she finds peace as he kneels down and touches her and casts this spell.
Okay. No roll required. You feel like more could have been done here. You know that an amulet was placed in the path of the party, and it seems like more could have been done here. That's all I can really tell you. But what I would like you to do is, if you'd be so kind as to make a check in the tower, let's call it either religion or insight. You're not in danger. I just wanted to just see what happens. Okay. So you cast General Repose. You touch a corpse or other remains. For the duration, the target is protected from decay and cannot become undead. The spell also effectively extends the time limit on raising the target from the dead, since days spent under the influence of the spell don't count against the time limited spells such as Raise Dead. So you bestow this corpse with this energy. I'm going to give you a point of inspiration because I think that was a very kind gesture.
All right.
And you
Thank
burned a high level spell slot to make it happen. You didn't roll high enough to get any other extraneous effects, but point of inspiration is the best I can offer. I got to give you something for that. That's a really very kind gesture.
And you say I do feel that something else could have been done.
You do, yeah.
In the wake of finding these amulets.
Yeah, you know that an amulet was placed in the path of the party. It was hidden inside the dragon statue to the far west. It was broken into pieces. It was
Yeah, it's the one I
mended,
used to help him.
and it was used as part of an exceptional spellcasting to bring you back to full power, full health. And then as you look down on this corpse and you look back to Bright, you know that she's also carrying a tiny little pair of children's shoes. It seems like something was being telegraphed to the party
Yeah,
that has not been
I
acted
left
upon.
the shoes. I left the shoes on her I left the shoes on her body.
That's true.
We didn't
yeah.
put them on her feet because
Yeah,
it was too delicate.
That is correct.
So whatever her belongings were, we tried to leave them there. But you're right. I think that we were just a little bit redirected and just kind of like forgot, like, oh, we were in the middle of something before we left last night.
Marlon, you look
That was
back.
my bad.
You look back at the wall, Marlon, and you see that it is encroaching. But with your powers of expertise in visual calculus, just studying your environment, you can see there are 10 rounds between now and when the wall crushes this body. Just letting you know about that information. Is there anything else you want to do in this moment?
In this moment, I don't think I can do anything else. Yeah, it would take another action, so, no.
Okay.
I'll pass my turn.
I'm going to delete the Wraith from the combat tracker. And then at the end of the turn, the wall moves forward by 5 feet. It is now round 49. Bright, what do you do?
Huzzah! Okay, so I see that this thing has similar mechanisms to the ones before it, right?
Yes.
Cool. So then I know partially what to expect so far. But I'm gonna put that on hold because I do want to know what I'm carrying, so to speak, from what I've pulled out of the previous ones so far, which, according to my inventory, is 3 pink crystals.
Mm-hmm.
I have the amulet that is now mended. I should fix that. And then I have a fine scroll.
A fine scroll, and I'm glad you used the word fine. Where is this fine scroll? Oh, there it is. It's in your pouch. Hey! And as you look over this pouch, you recognize some of the writing on it. As a matter of fact, you recognize all of the writing on it, and I have identified it for you.
Wonderful. I wonder then if I can use this spell scroll. I wanna be able to use it and then kind of utilize the sorcery stuff that I have, but I don't think I have enough things to identify.
You don't think you have enough objects to identify?
Yeah, because I want to twin spell it so that I could just do 2 for 1.
Oh, that is interesting.
But
I
don't have anything else to identify.
What do you want to identify?
Well, right now I have the pink crystal, and that's the only thing that's really unknown to me, because the amulet of Lathander is an amulet of Lathander.
Yeah, you could ask your
unless
teammates.
That is also unidentified.
No, I think you're squared away on the amulet of Lathander.
Okay.
And I went ahead and fixed it for you. Now it's identified, so it's no longer a broken amulet. But as far as other objects, that's a good question. And as far as being able to twin spell a scroll, that is also a good question. I think that might require
Yeah,
a skill roll. I don't think that's
because
normal. I don't think it's a normal act.
if it's gonna like make cost me something more, then I probably won't want to do it. But because I'm not sure how it like does, and that is a resource that is very, very precious to me.
Yeah.
So
So
I
let's see. So there's a couple things here. Number one is the identify spell takes some time. It takes 1 minute to cast. And I see you want to try to maximize the use of the spell by twinning it. So you could converse with
I
your
wanted to
allies
do
to
two
see if
things
there's
at
anything
once.
else you can identify, and then you can try to push yourself to twin spell it. I would call that a risky proposition. So you got to make a DC 17, or I might lay on some consequences. You would be able to do it, but something would go awry as well.
Oh, so it's still something that okay. I have um well, I'm also kind of curious because I don't have any more first level spell slots. So if I use identify at second level, does that add another item
I don't think
to
identify is a
uh
spell that can be upcast,
It
but
can. It's just it doesn't get any benefit.
you can
okay.
always use a
Okay.
spell slot that's higher than what's required. It just unless it specifically states upcasting effects, then it just uses up that slot and has a normal effect.
I see.
Now you can try to
Oh, I
push
see.
the
Yeah.
roll.
There's no
You can make a
additional.
skill roll to try to add some sort of extra benefit onto it. This is part of the flexibility I'm trying to inject into your characters and make the skill rolls really work for you. You can say like I want it to identify 2 items, and then I'll say, all right, give me some sort of skill check. We'll say it's controlled or risky or desperate. It just depends on the situation you find yourself in. The wall's a lot closer now, so you don't as you're working on that, someone can try to clear the obstacles in front of you. But in the meantime, it's going to be risky or maybe even desperate. Just depends on what you want to do.
Mm.
This is like negotiation.
Well, well, I think for now I'll save the idea of twin spelling identify because I did forget that it is a 1 minute cast. I thought it was instant. I was reading the wrong segment. But I know what it takes to dig into this dragon's mouth.
That only takes one action. One very important
So
action.
I shove the pole in its mouth and push the button for an action
What pole?
to keep it from my immovable rod.
The immovable rod? What?
As usual, we shove the rod in the mouth of the dragon and then
Doinkus.
push the button to stop it from chomping my arm off. And
Okay.
then I will use the remainder of what I can do to shove my arm in. And as usual, I think it takes me about 2 turns to be able to pull this thing and get what's inside.
Okay. So your
So that
arm
is
is
all for
now all
me.
the way inside the statue. You have this immovable rod in place that may or may not
Yes.
save your arm from being
Yeah.
severed or whatever. Who knows? It might just be like a
It's
love bite.
it has worked 100% of the time so far.
And it says right there on the pole, works 100% of the time, 80% of the time.
There you go.
Okay.
I moved my I passed my turn.
Gotcha. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a very quick bio break before we move on to Edvard Thar. So I want you guys to think about what you want to do, and we will be back in about 10 minutes. Thank you very much, and we'll be right back.
No, that's not big enough. No, that's not big enough either. That's more like it. We're delighted to have you with us. To add to your enjoyment, we're all wound up to bowl you over at intermission time with live wire service at our snack bar, where you'll find a tempting variety of favorite foods and beverages. Now it's showtime, folks. And you can be sure it's the best show in town. Your continued patronage is very, very welcome.
setting up shop. We got a cleric paladin who is also setting up shop. We're gonna call our consortium Praetor's Haberdashery Consortium. We don't sell hats.
Is we don't sell hats part of the name?
No, I just thought I'd clarify.
I like it better if it was part of the name. Yeah, me too.
Oh,
that would be very funny.
I'm the head of it, so like we could add that to the name.
We will then. We're gonna have shirts made. I gotta get their portraits all put together, and we're gonna have merchandise.
Oh my god!
This is gonna be awesome.
Praetor's Haberdashery Consortium. Parentheses. We don't sell hats.
I would buy one of those shirts.
It's intermission. Rise and stretch time. Time to refresh yourself and visit our snack bar. Got a yen for hot popcorn? Your favorite soft drinks are sparkling cold. The juicy Frank sizzling hot. There's delicious coffee, freshly brewed, and all kinds of ice cream and candy to tempt you. Showtime will be announced loud and clear to get you back to your car in time. So stretch your legs. Come to the snack bar now.
They don't really apply to level 0 characters.
They don't? Okay. All right. So then I won't grab them. I thought that crit might be that extra one. Okay. So here's the regular damage. Oh, say good night, Francis. Oh, that's Chip. Oh. Oh, I'm sorry, Chip.
Suck it, Chip.
Whoops. I thought
I'm sorry, sir. This is a private mountain.
But I only wanted it.
This mountain is reserved for patrons.
But
it's a supply depot for all sorts of good things, which people can get at the snack bar. Like soft drinks, candy bars of all kinds, delicious popcorn, and refreshing ice cream treats.
But I am a patron.
Well, why didn't you say so? Be our guest.
Through, and you're kind of at a point where you can't really wedge your way in there anymore. You're like,
here, boy. Here, boy. Come. Here, boy. You can do it. Come on.
Yes, sir. May I help you?
I'd like 2 of those, please.
Hot dogs? Yes, sir.
And 3 of those. And 1 of those. And 5 bars of these. And a cup of that nice hot liquid.
Coffee. Coming right up.
Oh, and 2 bags of those peculiar white coffee material.
You mean our crunchy popcorn? Shall I wrap that for you, sir?
Oh, that's all right. My saucer's just outside.
They come from miles to enjoy our intermission.
I'm terribly sorry. Bjorn, you explode, and in your place is a sweet roll.
Nice.
Hello there. Give the demonstration of my new invention, the goodies machine. The machine turns out delicious hot doggies one after the other. And thirst-quenching sodas also. Gives popcorn of the most tasty kind, plain unbuttered. Candy too, crunchy and dandy. Steaming hot coffee and ice cream too. These goodies are at our snack bar, just waiting for you.
Private messenger. And do you know how to do that in Facebook? I mean, in Facebook, whatever. What the hell? What the hell? What the hell?
At least Facebook is still around
Wow.
hundreds of years into the future.
Hey, why mess with a good thing,
Go ahead
right?
and clip that one, guys. And you send that one to me later, too. Thanks a lot.
As everyone knows, rainbows usually have a treasure at the end. Let's follow this one and see if we can find the pot of gold.
Brother, I suppose you've come to claim me treasure.
Well, we'd like to see the gold first.
Nathan is better than gold in here, me lad. No, just look here, no.
Candy, refreshing soft drinks, popcorn, ice cream, Well, that's some treasure, but anyone can buy luscious treats like these at the snack bar.
You don't tell me. Do you suppose you could get me a job as a snack bar attendant?
Brass knuckles he's wearing, and the creature just.
How did the creature go?
One more time?
What? One more time?
No, that was it.
Like you crave that corn when it's freshly bobbed, you gotta beat it to the box with the butter on the top. Get with it, man, start strolling down to the sweets that set you rolling, the best in town. Our candy's real gone, if I'm understood. To all you squares, that means the confection is positively delicious. Cork that stuff, give me 5, let me send you into this nutty jive. Go, man, go! It ain't very far. Shake it on down to this cool snack bar. Come on, Jill, give us a treat. A friendly pepper-upper with a tasty beat.
Drink Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper, 'cause it never lets you down.
Frosty, man, frosty.
People, we might be able to take care of that. I
I'm
understand.
gonna sing the doom song now.
Oh, God.
Doom, 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 doom. Doom, da doom. Doom, da doom, da doom. Doom, da doom. Doom, doom, da doom, doom. Da doom, doom. Do da 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 doom, doom, doom. Do da 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 doom, 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 doom. Doomy, doomy, doomy. Doom, doom, doom. The end.
Music to the ears of the hungry. The sizzle of a mouth-watering hamburger. Fresh, lean beef, done to a golden brown, couched in a soft bun, and garnished to taste. Man, that's hunger heaven. And you'll feel like you're heaven sent when you get one at our refreshment stand.
Happen. Let me see. Is there a deception check for a horse? Or does a horse have a? Ooh, it's going for the
deception for a horse.
Yeah, horse has
I
got
love it.
deception. So the horse goes up and you see it. It's looking a brief second. It looks at the plant like maybe it's something even tastier, but then it sticks out his tongue and it pulls back and then it backs up. It's got the sugar cube in its mouth and its eyes go boing as his eyes just go and it starts woo and it starts bucking and it just
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and my good friend Yagvin here was just about to ask the kobold a very important question. Yagvin?
Yeah. How old are you, buddy?
3! This many!
And he holds up a middle finger.
This many.
He flips off the guy with the flaming arm sword. Gotcha. Gotcha. I'll remember that one. You're not as beefy as 3.
That fat ass over there!
Imagining Yagvin's, like, his hand is about to make the middle finger and then it switches over to the flaming blade.
I want to delve into the mind of a robot who is so offended by a kobold giving him the middle finger that he threatens it with death. Very Sigma. Anyways, I believe it is Edvard's turn.
Yeah.
Edvard, what happens next, my friend?
So, I can see the next dragon head statue, right?
You gaze through these energetic fields. It seems like there's 4 of them in turn. And at the far end, seems to be shrouded in darkness almost. But there is another dragon head statue way down there, believe it or not. There's a bunch of
Exactly.
fog at the end of the hallway, by the way.
Exactly 90 feet from me.
This seems to be the case.
I'm going
Just
to
for me.
cast Mage Hand 90 feet away from me.
Okay. Where do you want to put this thing?
Inside the dragon's mouth.
All right. I'll allow you to put it right here. But
I do not see it.
right here.
¿Dónde está?
Sorry. But here's the thing. You're so far away that your legerdemain is going to be a little difficult. I would say this is outside the normal scope of an adventurer. So if you want to try to make something crazy happen here, it's going to be tough. Because normally I would say that you have to see what you are trying to perform legerdemain on. And going inside the mouth, especially at this extreme distance, that's definitely going to be a desperate action. In fact, you could make the situation worse if you mess up. There's a lot of fog at the end of the hallway, especially where all that, what is that, snow covering the ground down there? And there's a total of 4 energetic walls interposing. The flames are making it hard to see. It looks like the next one is like a vibrating sheet of like this pale white energy. The third one looks like crackling lightning, and the last one looks like a dense bank of fog and swirling mist. And through all of that, you can just make out the dragon head statue at the end of the hall. So it is going to be quite a challenge for you to do anything that requires manual dexterity and good vision.
Bright has only put the rod in the dragon head statue that she's on, right?
Yeah.
She hasn't shoved her arm in there?
Yeah.
She put her arm in. I figured I was making things run a little too slow, so I figured that putting her arm inside the mouth can take a bonus action. So I allowed that to occur.
Oh, okay.
So her arm is full throttle all the way into the mouth of this thing, with the immovable rod just kind of sticking out of her armpit, and her hand is firmly grasping the crank inside. So on her next turn, she can turn that crank. Firmly grasping. That's right.
I'm gonna hold off on what I'm planning on doing then for now, but I'm gonna keep the mage hand there.
Okay. Yeah, that doesn't require any concentration, so you can allow that to linger for now.
So that was my action, right?
Yes.
Yes. I want to investigate that oil that I saw, or that oil-like substance.
You can certainly do that. Give me an investigation roll in the tower.
Wait, hold on.
Ooh, that was a close one. Yeah, you kind of do you really get close to it? Do you touch it? Do you smell it? Do you lick it?
Yeah, I was gonna say yeah. I sniff it. But from where I am, I'm not like going down low to sniff it.
Gotcha. So you don't touch it?
And that would actually give me an advantage.
I'll give it to you flat, man. You don't have to re-roll or anything.
Okay.
It stinks. It smells really awful. It smells like spoiled eggs, like a sulfury, stenchy kind of sewer smell. It's coming straight from this slick residue that is kind of coating one little spot in the middle of this glyph, this mosaic of this weird, pale, bell-shaped creature with 2 eye stalks and a lazy, puckered mouth, and the whole thing just stinks. It's like there's this weird smell in the air of burning embers and then this awful stench. It's overpowering your senses.
Do I get the feeling that it's a flammable liquid?
You don't.
What?
Anything else?
I want to. I don't know if this would be a bonus action or an action, but I just want to stick the tip of my sword in the liquid.
Okay.
And just
Yeah, so you take your sword and you gingerly press upon this glistening surface. It does not seem to have any effect. Now it looks to be certain it is not liquid. It seems like an imprint or a mark directly upon the stone. It's not something that can be pushed around or smeared. It seems like the stone itself is glowing in a strange little hieroglyph. It's barely discernible to you.
yeah, I think that's gonna end my turn.
Okay. We'll go and pass to the kobolds. The kobolds, for their part, they're basically big, huge heroes. They've come so much farther than I expected them to, as the DM. The kobold number 3 follows Marlin like a little bodyguard. Kobold number 1, he says,
Oh, sorry.
and he puts down his middle finger, which he's been holding in front of Yogvin for a full 6 seconds. And he's kind of steps back a little bit, and then he kind of jumps into the middle. He kind of heads. He gingerly heads towards Yogvin's echo, and looks down the hallway between Yogvin and Edvard. You guys can see the firelight kind of glistening off of his large cat-like eyes, his lizardy eyes, and he just stands and observes. And it is Yogvin's turn.
Well, there's only one thing to do next, and that's stand on the square, right, guys?
Yep. I guess.
But I will go and step on the square since.
Okay. You step forward onto the square. It's approximately 5 feet in its size. You step directly onto this mosaic. It's not like this huge sculpture popping out of the stone. It's like flat, but the it's like a mosaic of tile almost, rather than a sculpture or like a bas relief. So you step onto this thing and you hear the roaring of the wall of flames in front of you. You don't really hear anything else. Nothing seems to happen. You look straight down and you're standing on this thing's face, whatever it is. It just looks, its eyes on its eye stalks stare up at you placidly. But nothing seems to happen.
Does it look as if the eyes are moving?
It does not.
Okay, so it's just looking up okay, I see what you're saying.
And since you don't have to breathe, you don't really smell the stench as badly as, say, someone with a giant, monstrous schnoz. So
that does bring a fair point. Because I'm curious what will happen. I can summon the echo within 15 feet of me. So I'm gonna summon him 15 feet in front of me.
Okay, so the echo vanishes from view behind you guys and then appears in the middle of the hallway, just past the fiery statue and just in front of this weird shimmering sheet of this vibrating energy. And the echo just stands there, turns around to face you, and just kind of holds its arms up in the air like, what are you doing?
You didn't run in fire. You're fine. I'll step to the side, now knowing that stepping on this huge sigil isn't going to do anything. And, yeah, I'm kind of dumbfounded. I looked for clues that would help, and I didn't find anything. I guess I will...
Go ahead.
I guess I could try to retry to look? I don't know.
Yeah, you can... Well, what you can do is you can try to search your knowledge, search your feelings, see if you can think of any other skill check that might help you identify the creature that's depicted in the mosaic. You feel like after just kind of browsing through your knowledge of the natural world, that maybe you were searching in the wrong data bank. of your
Yeah.
hard drives, which are obviously DDR4 solid state. I don't know anything about
obviously.
27-inch
DDR4 is the superior version of RAM. Anyways,
You're randomly accessing your memory, hoping that you'll land upon the correct skill check. What's the
I
next
don't know
one?
anything, like in character. I don't know anything about this character. So or this creature. I will make a Arcana check. I believe. I guess.
Sure.
To
Go ahead and,
maybe see if it's a magical beast.
Let's see here. So you wow, you rack your brain. God, you feel like you're so close, like it's right on the tip of your tongue, but you missed the DC by 1. So I can't tell you what it is. I'm so sorry.
I think I've seen this before, but I don't know where to point it.
This is an easy check, by the way.
I'll just yeah. I mean, I have a +1, so that will be my turn. I will tell the party that I do recognize this creature. I can't pinpoint exactly its being, but I believe it to maybe be of the magical kind.
Okay. Marlon, it's your turn, my friend.
Okay, before I get into what I'm going to do, how do you treat verbiage, like speaking? Is that a bonus action, free action?
You
What?
can
How
go
do
ahead
you
and
work
make some
that?
statements. Yeah, you can go ahead and make some statements, and I'll push the action along if I feel like it's
Okay.
going on for too long. I kind of
All right,
want to keep that free form.
Sure. Marlon's going to look down at the bones. He's going to look over at his party. He's going to look back at the wall. He's going to do this several times. He's going to step here. And as he steps there, he's going to gently put his hand on the back of the kobold and speak in Draconic. I will put it in the chat. Oh, crud, I got to do GM. Hang on.
Do players have to select GM?
Yeah.
Huh.
You have to write it.
To whisper.
I'm learning
yeah.
all kinds of stuff about this.
Hopefully that only went to you.
It appears to me like it only came to me, and I did recognize
Yes, it
the
did.
language.
Okay,
And
well,
what
I
did you
just
guys
wrote
see?
it.
I didn't see
Nothing.
anything. Oh, it was
I
just a
see
whisper.
nothing.
I see you. Okay, it was just a whisper.
Yeah.
That's okay. Yeah.
And so he will, he is going to point at the wall. And as he's pointing, the only thing that's going to hear this really is the kobold, because he's not really speaking that loud. But he's going to say, I loved you in life, Trini. Now I excuse me. I loved you in life, Trini. Now I will love you in death. He looks back at the little bones. I'm sorry, I could never give you children. Maybe, somehow, this will make up for it. And as he's saying this and pointing his finger down the hallway, his finger begins to glow a green. He starts tapping his staff on the ground, and he is going to cast the 4th level spell, Vitrolic Sphere, at the wall. With advantage, I'm going to use inspiration.
Okay.
And let's see.
Let me
I don't
check
know
out
how
that
it's going to
spell.
do. Yeah, I don't know how it's going to do this. It has to make a dexterity saving throw.
Well, let's reframe this in the sense of our new skill set here of knowledge. Tell me what you want to accomplish. State your goal.
He wants to damage this wall. He wants to try to protect these bones from this wall, just obliterating them and the memory of her.
Yeah. Okay. And what skill do you want to use? This is going to be in addition to casting this spell. But since
Arcana,
we're gonna
obviously.
Yeah, I think it's clear to Marlon that this is going to require some exceptional effort. You're really reaching into the wellspring of your arcane knowledge to perform something extraordinary. So you're going to make an Arcana roll. Let's see.
Is that just plain or with advantage? He'll guide himself as well, just in case?
I'll allow you to cast guidance on yourself.
All right, as a bonus action, I guess. I don't know.
Uh,
I don't know if that can be done that way, but I'm gonna sure try.
We'll roll that into the action roll.
All right.
When I say action roll, this is going to be like a combination of a skill check and then a little bit of extra flavor.
Don't forget, you also have Bardic Inspiration.
Oh yeah, it's already on me. I don't know what that means, but sure.
Can Bright remind us what the Bardic Inspiration does? In the context of
it has the magical bit to it that I need to remind myself what it is. Let's see.
All right.
Bardic versatility.
While you're looking at that, I want to set the scene a little bit. Marlon, you want to damage this wall and prevent it from destroying these bones.
Yes.
You know that this wall is casting a protective spell within 5 feet of it. A dispel magic spell. So, in order to overcome that, it's going to require. This is all part of the action roll. It's going to make things a little more difficult. I'm going to say that this is a desperate situation, but if you succeed, since you're using a 4th level spell, you're going to have a very great effect, and you're going to halt the wall's advance for 1d10 plus. Let's just say 1d20 rounds. That will halt the wall's advance as you hinder it with the vitriolic sphere. And when I'm looking at this thing, it looks like it creates this giant glob of acid.
Yeah, it's acid damage.
So the way I'm thinking about this is that it's going to be this huge sphere of acid that just kind of consumes the hallway, and the wall is going to have to churn through that. And the wall is probably going to continue rebuilding itself as it goes, and it's going to try to dispel your sphere. But while it does so, it will be halted in its advance for 1d20 rounds.
All right, so you want me to roll a Arcana check before I try to cast the spell, or how do you want to work that?
You're going to burn the 4th level slot, and you're definitely going to cast a spell. And then make the Arcana roll in the tower. And that's with advantage, with guidance. And then after the roll, Bright can chime in with her understanding of Bardic Inspiration.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty.
Okay, I missed it. Hang on a sec, sorry.
Okay. I just found the spot where it talks about Bardic Inspiration.
Marlon, can you roll 1d4, and we're going to throw that onto the check. It looks like it didn't roll your guidance for some reason. So, okay. Thank you. And then, Bright, how does Bardic Inspiration come into play here?
So if you want to, you can use it for magical. It says if a creature has Bardic Inspiration from you and casts a spell that restores hit points or deals damage, the creature can roll that die and choose a target affected by the spell. Add the number rolled as a bonus to the hit points gained or damage dealt. So you can add on to the damage it deals. If you don't want to use the Bardic Inspiration normally as to attack or like regular Bardic Inspiration works. Yeah,
it'll definitely go for the damage.
Okay.
So it's a D8. So
do you want to expend that Bardic Inspiration? I will let you know that you have succeeded.
Okay.
So if you want to expend that Bardic Inspiration, then I'll add the Bardic Inspiration die to the number of rounds that the wall is halted for.
Yeah, that'll do fine, yeah.
Go ahead and roll a d8 for me. And then, Bright, if you can take off that effect.
In the tower?
You can throw that out in the open.
That was the wrong dice, wasn't it? No, that was it.
That was a d8. I think we're
good.
That
was a d8.
Okay, I'm going to roll a d20. So, I saw a 4 first. Where did the 7 come from? Are we good?
I don't know.
I think I'll use the 4. So for 15 rounds, here's what happens. Marlon, actually, I want you to tell me. You were already narrating so well. Go ahead and finish your thought, knowing that you have succeeded.
So does he know that it's not done any damage, just halting it, or?
Well, now that you've directly interacted with it, you know that this wall is, in the words of Gandalf, this foe is beyond any of you. It is unbelievably overcharged with magical energies, and you being able to hold it back is, it's nigh laughable. But
Okay.
delving deeply into the reserves of your power, you were able to basically destroy it in the sense that it continues to rebuild itself continuously, and there seems to be no end to the mana that powers this horrifying golem-like creature, this giant wall of death. But the acid definitely slows it down. It has to stop in order to regenerate itself. And you're not going to roll damage against it so much as you are just going to halt its advance.
Okay.
As I've described. So
Yep.
I'm going to start a little clock here on my paperwork because I am using a pen and paper like a nerd. This is a 15-tick clock. And once I reach 15 ticks, then the wall is going to start moving again. Now, with that in mind...
As he does that, and he is aware of the stoppage of the wall, he is going to turn to the party. Get out of here!
Fly, you fools!
Fly, you fools!
Fly!
I'll hold it as long as I can.
Swords are of no use here. Marlon, you look down.
No!
You look down at this little bundle of bones, and you realize that you may have bought precious time for the execution of one more very interesting action. Another opportunity presents itself.
All right, that is his turn.
Okay. And at the end of the turn, I add 1 tick to the clock. But the wall does not move as this blast of acid, this huge glob of acid just churns and roils in front of the wall, and you can hear metal melting and gears screeching, and there's fumes and smoke building up in the hallway. But the wall does not move. Bright, you're up.
Okay. So I can see in front of me this whole thing go down. Do I recognize the whole shindig? Do I recognize his actions as being done because of the remains that are in the hall?
That's a great question. Marlon told you to get out of here. I don't think you heard any of his internal monologue about, the things that he discussed. I don't think Bright would have heard those things.
No, but
No,
did
not-
she
not
see
hearing
him kneel down?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I would say that you did. You did see that. And that makes you realize that, oh, hey, I was going to do something else earlier and I forgot all about it. What were you going to do, Bright?
Exactly. Exactly. This is what is leading up to it. I have my whole arm in this dragon's mouth, but I see that there are more dire things happening just ahead of me. And I'm like, oh, I have unfinished business. I'll pull my arm out, and I will fly on over to these remains. 25 feet. Nice.
Okay. You sail over, the kobold says, "Where are you going? You're going the wrong way!" But you don't understand Draconic, so you just, smile and wave, like, "Hi, little buddy!" And just keep flying as he panics.
Just, smiling at a panicking kobold.
You're like, look, he's got so many beautiful teeth.
Oh my god.
I could use those teeth for my herbalism kit.
Oh no, she's not that dire.
Once again, Bright, you light on the ground. I believe Marlon may be facing you now. what happens next?
Like, listen, sir. Not going to be leaving you behind, but I know that this here, it was something I was going to do. And I didn't remember exactly what it was until you got hurt. So let me figure this out. I have the amulet in the pocket. Wait, when we held this amulet near this kid, did it react in any way? Now that it's, mended?
Before I answer that question, I want to make sure the stream is working normally. I think we may be suffering a delay of some sort.
Oh. Let's have a look.
Okay, I think we're good now. I think OBS is just bugging out a little bit, but I think we're still good.
Okay.
Okay. Now you were asking about. Can you remind me what you were asking about? It was about the amulet and the child.
That I have, the amulet that I have at hand. Now that it's mended and fixed,
yeah.
Does it like have any kind of reaction being close to the remains? Like, does it light up? Is there anything happening as I approach with this amulet at hand?
That's a good question. I think you might have to attune a little bit with the deity. Give me a roll of some sort. Yeah, you're not in danger.
I'm in danger.
I'll tell you when you're in danger.
Is that religion or something? Like, what am I rolling for?
It's your choice.
Oh, okay. Well, if it's...
Remember, don't ask, just tell.
Yeah, I really want you guys to.
I'm used to someone telling me what to roll.
I know. That's kind of the habit I want to break. I want you guys to drive the action. You tell me what you do.
No. Well, if it's religion-based, or religiously based, I'll go with religion, just because that seems to make the most sense to me.
Okay.
In the tower?
Yes, please.
Okay.
All right. So, you draw forth the amulet, and you focus. You close your eyes. The sound of the wall just kind of sort of fades away, and in the depths of the darkness of your consciousness, a chill whisper. Good. Please.
Okay.
Help me.
Come again?
Help me. I don't know if whispers translate well on Twitch, but I said help me in the whispered voice of spirit.
It says red rum.
Red rum.
I'm sorry to ruin the moment, but I honestly didn't hear it.
No, it's okay. It's my fault
I
because I have
appreciate
substandard audio equipment. Duff didn't buy me a new microphone for the stream.
Gosh,
so
darn it,
blame Duff.
Hey,
you, Duff. Love you, Duff. But yeah, you hear in the deepest, darkest subconscious area of your mind, perhaps where the child Bright spent most of her life, just in the dark solitude of her own mind. You hear the voice of another. It's a tiny little whisper. It says, "Help me." Good. Please. Help me.
Ask the voice how.
You feel like there may be a presence in front of you, but it is having trouble forming the right words to say. If only there was something you could do, Bright.
There is, technically. I have Speak with the Dead, and I would like to use it.
Now we're talking. Okay. I'm going to say that requires no roll. You can just cast a spell, and I do believe that is just a one-action casting, right?
Yeah. Sure is.
Tell me how you cast a spell.
That's probably one of the more spells she has that is not so glittery and happy. It's a little more dark in
somber.
nature.
Yeah. You sprinkle
Her
glitter all over the corpse.
I know that she has really bright yellow eyes, but I think in this case, her bright yellow eyes would be blackened entirely, so that she can commune with the dead and speak directly to the soul in front of her.
Okay.
And I think it's 5 questions that I can ask.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you want to split that between a couple rounds or if we want to just do it all in one.
Let's play it by ear. It'll depend on the questions you ask. But
Okay.
what I will say is, the first thing I want to do, I want to read the description real quick. You grant the semblance of life and intelligence to a corpse of your choice within range, allowing it to answer the questions you pose. The corpse will still have a mouth. It must still have a mouth, and it cannot be undead currently. The spell fails if the corpse was the target of the spell within the last 10 days. Until the spell ends, you can ask the corpse up to 5 questions. The corpse knows only what it knew in life, including the languages it knew. Answers are usually brief, cryptic, and repetitive, and the corpse is under no compulsion to offer a truthful answer if you are hostile to it, or if it recognizes you as an enemy. The spell doesn't return the creature's soul to its body, only its animating spirit. Thus, the corpse cannot learn any new information, doesn't comprehend anything that has happened since it died, and it cannot speculate about future events. I just wanted to read that for the listening audience. Anybody who doesn't know about D&D or how this spell works, I like to read those descriptions once. Now, Bright, you rolled pretty well on your religion check, so I'm going to give you an extra piece of information. You might have noticed when the spirit was visible to you earlier in the morning, when the spirit saw Marlin, it went berserk. It transformed into a horrific, shambling creature of spiritual doom, and it attacked Marlin outright. And it screamed a particular phrase. Do you guys remember what it screamed?
No more magic.
So I will say that you recall this fact as you glance up and realize Marlin's standing right in front of you as you're about to cast a spell.
Is it? I don't know. Well, I guess in this case it does. Because I'm the only one that can speak to it, right? Well, I'm going to tell Marlin to move along then. Because she didn't like you when you were here. So I need you to step out of sight while I speak to her. So I can figure out how to make sure her remains are set up. No, out of sight, sir! Around the corner!
Marlin edges ever closer to the roiling entanglement of acid and metal.
Not towards the wall, sir! Come back!
Very confident is he.
Yeah.
Perhaps rightfully so.
I suspect
very magnificent as well.
Very magnificently. Very Marlinly.
Yeah, right.
You think that might be enough? You know, if you keep this creature, this spirit's attention focused on you, then you'll probably be fine with him standing this far away. What about the kobold? Is he good? The kobold is watching you with rapt attention, and he is very, very gingerly edging ever closer like a cat, just like very curious.
I probably look a little scary, but she's not trying to be scary.
Well,
But I want her to
between you and the corpse and the wall of death and the acid ball and the fire around the corner, he's had a big day.
It's been quite a big day,
It's-
and I
He also had
I
all
just
his friends
felt
die
like-
too.
Yeah, it's been a lot, you know.
It's
I
only
think,
been 5 minutes, guys.
I want to tell him, even though he's not going to understand anything. I want to point at him and point at Marlin, or just point at him and point back to Yogbin. I was like, you either go over there or you go over there. I need some space.
He looks back at Marlin. He sees a silhouette of Marlin in the dark with the glow of the staff. And meanwhile, there's torches on the walls, so there's like a bunch of shadows cast all over Marlin. And then just in front of Marlin is this bubbling sphere of acid. And then he looks back and he sees his buddy, Kobold number 1. You guys haven't named the kobolds, by the way, and I think that's a shameful thing on you guys.
Frickin' frack.
Frickin' frack.
They should already have names. I just
Cheech and
have no
Chong.
way of asking them.
He runs over towards his buddy, Frack. That's what Frick does.
Thank you. Let's get this show on the road.
One's Waffle and the other one's House.
Waffles.
Dr. House, if you will.
Oh my god.
Dr. Waffle
Number
House.
3 is iron. Number 1 is waffle.
Iron Waffle? I love it.
Waffle
Iron
iron.
waffle.
So you're going to cast a spell?
I shall. I have already marked off my spell slot.
Okay. So you imbue this. You imbue this fragile, poor little thing with the semblance of life and intelligence, and you hear.
Yes. Hello. I think I heard you in my head after talking to Lathander.
It immediately begins making just like a death rattle. It's like the lungs aren't there. It's just trembling bones, and it begins to cry. If it could, it trembles like it sounds like the world's most frightening. God, what do you call it? Like it's like I can't think of the word. I can't think of the word for that thing that hangs on a porch and blows in the breeze and it makes little noises.
Oh, wind chime.
Yeah, it sounds like the world's most frightening little wind chime. Just click, 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 just like the clanking.
Little rattly bones.
Yeah, but the bones don't disintegrate anymore like they might have earlier. They seem to have been imbued with a form now. The bones hold together, and this little girl of a skeleton, her hands shakily move towards her face, and she just covers her empty eye sockets and just cries into her tiny, shattered fingers. And you may ask your first question.
How can I help you rest in peace? Finally. Like, finally rest in peace.
And as soon as you start talking, she seems to tremble and jerk, as if your voice startled her. And she looks up, and it's suddenly it's like she's much more alive and not just afraid. It's like the spirit changes its emotional status, and you can feel like it's ice cold wind, kind of sort of like a tiny fragile gust blowing from this skeleton. It's like the spirit is spinning around inside this fragile skeleton, and it looks at you with its empty eyes, and it says, "Help me! I don't want to go back. Please." And
I wanna
as
help
the
you, friend.
skeleton moves, the little shoes fall off of the corpse and land on the stone right next to her. You feel like you could put the shoes on her now because the corpse is held together with the semblance of your magic. It's a much more sturdy frame now.
Okay. Well, that didn't help me much. Let me go ahead and I guess use my bonus action to put the little shoes on.
Okay. So you grab the shoes. You start fitting them
Yeah,
on.
they must have fell off of her. Yeah. I'll
Yeah,
put
they
them
were
on
kind of
her.
laying on her. They were kind of laying in the spot where Yogvin's flaming sword sliced through her body. Just kind of laying in that little cavity. Which is still like lightly singeing, you know, like she doesn't
That's
seem to
okay.
mind. You fit one of the shoes on. I'm gonna say it's gonna take another turn to put the rest of the shoes on.
Okay. Would I have a free action to pull out the amulet?
Yeah.
To just keep it in my hand?
Yeah,
So, like,
yeah.
show, basically be in her field of vision?
Absolutely. When you
Alright,
bring it into
cool.
her field of vision, she reaches out for it, and we're gonna pass your turn.
So I'm gonna try and do my best to keep track of how many things I've done.
No problem.
Thanks.
Same
Okay.
here, homie. I have no idea what's going on. Edvard Thar. Who cares about all that ghostly mumbo jumbo? What are you up to, man?
I care about the ghostly mumbo jumbo, but I think, you know, we can not split the party, but split our focus. You know, those two can handle it.
The sword in your hand whispers, "Oh, good. Another one to gobble up."
Yeah, Yagvin, did you just say something? Never mind. But I think the Fire Sword Bros can handle this.
Sure about that?
I love it, the Fire Sword Bros.
Oh my god.
Fist bump for the Fire Sword Bros.
We touch tips.
What?
Of the swords.
That's both of the kobolds look at each other. They're like, yo.
Hey, yo?
They start touching the tips of their tails together.
The kobolds go, oops, there goes our Twitch.
Did it, oh. This is rated R. I didn't mention that at the beginning, but this is definitely a rated R.
Rated R.
No, it's rated PG.
Yeah, sorry, kids.
13.
Rip.
I think they're checking IDs at the door.
Yeah, Jeff is on that one.
Jeff is definitely on that.
Jeff is the bouncer.
Yeah.
All right, so Edvard, you and Yogvin touch tips, and then what do you do? That's canon.
You gonna take me out to dinner first, or?
That's canon.
No.
It just happened.
You're a robot. You don't eat.
That doesn't mean I can't.
Doesn't mean you can't either. Edvard's been around, you know, throughout, you know, the world. He's been with the army. He's gone different places. He's seen different things and had different kind of things try to kill him. I would like to do a survival check to see if I know anything about this. Like if I've experienced how to survive this kind of creature, if this creature is hostile or not hostile in its natural environment.
That's good and creative. Go ahead and make that roll in the tower, and we'll see what comes of it. Outstanding. Okay. Listen, man. The only way I'm going to give you the information you seek is if you give us a little bit of your backstory. You've been sitting on this for a little too long. You said we were going to get to hear a little bit about what happened in your life, and you just described a little bit of it. Tell us how you came across this little otherworldly creature known as a flump.
Flump.
Yeah.
So Edvard, Dar is not actually his last name. It's his rank in the army that he served. basically, eventually it was a Thar. He became Thar. It's a more like a general, but back when he was, a little newer to the army, he was doing some not so nice missions for him. Uh, Going through he had to go through the woods, sneak into villages, and set fires to the farms.
Wow.
And yeah, he thought these people were helping the enemy. As far as he knew, they were.
Did you have to delve into any caves as a part of this? Maybe you were hunting down some stragglers at one point.
He was tracking them down using his sniffer like a hound dog. Tracked down to a very cavey mountain. He lost the scent, but he went into the first cave he saw. That's where he saw this bluffer.
Yeah. Did you have your sword at this time?
Yes.
Okay.
Using the sword to light the cave so that way he could see in it.
Yeah, it's a dark, dank cave. You were following the scent of these commoners. Who knows if you were gonna be dragging them out, or killing them, or helping them hide. But the cave seemed to go a little bit lower into the earth than you would have originally expected. Maybe you took a wrong turn somewhere. Maybe you missed the exit you thought you were looking for. But you ended up in an odd region of the underground called the Underdark. You started coming across glowing mushrooms and phosphorescent gems, and you very quickly picked up on this awful stench. And so, for lack of anything else to follow, you had lost the trail of these commoners, and you started following the stench smell, because you're like, hey, it's got to lead me to something, right? Maybe you were lost for a couple of hours. And you eventually come across this odd floating creature. It's disc-shaped. It has like a puckered mouth on the bottom of it. It has 2 long eye stalks, and it kind of sort of looks like a floating octopus with a lot of extra tentacles, or like a man-o'-war, like a floating man-o'-war. And each tentacle is like this like tube-like thing. And when you came across this thing, it was floating above you. Like, you just happened to notice it because of its awful smell. It was floating above you, and it looked like it looked like an animal. Like, it had no knowledge or a brain or anything. But as soon as you made eye contact with it, you noticed it was staring at you. And it made contact with you. It said, "Hello, Horned One. One of the pubescent trunk. We are the Flumphs. Do not bring harm upon those people. There is a better way. Search your feelings. You know it to be true." And so began your long and strange friendship with the extraplanar creatures known as the Flumphs. They're friendly. They want to do good. They want to protect people. They had knowledge to give you. They had dire warnings to give you, but they didn't always know how to communicate. And so they took a lot of extra time to train your mind to receive this information. And I'm going to go ahead and say that this is part of why you have all of the psychic powers that you have, is you were trained by the Flumphs. So when you get a chance, man, go just like read up on the Flumphs. They have the weirdest, coolest backstory. They have like several huge pages of lore, and they're really cool little creatures. And it just so happens that you rolled correctly here, and you are able to identify them. So you know what these are now. It's like maybe you didn't recognize it because the mosaic was just oddly constructed, but now that you've seen it, you cannot unsee it. That's a flump. Oh, that's a flump.
Mother flumper.
Is that what you say?
Yeah. I tell Yagvin they're flumps. They're
boink
friendly and extra. They're from another plane, man.
And there is a snap. Like a snap, crackle, pop, and a creature suddenly appears in front of the group. It looks, as I have described before, it looks vaguely like a football with a bunch of tentacles on it. And there's little eye stalks, and it has this weird oblong mouth, and it just floats and flitters, and the stench becomes awfully strong.
Oh no.
You have just summoned a flump, and the wall of fire goes down.
What?
Yeah.
So is the flump now like is it just like Edvard's companion now?
That's an excellent question. Edvard, what do you do?
We hope so.
You still have an action and a bonus action.
So, with my
sword,
long and rigorous training, with the flumps, I use my trunk and do what the flumps consider a handshake, but with their tentacles and my trunk, and acting as one of their tentacles.
And it mimics you. It seems to gather together several of its little tentacles into a long, distinctive shape right in front of its midsection. Maybe a little lower than you would have liked for mimicry, but it mimics the movement of your trunk perfectly, and it gives you the flump thump, if you will. It bumps. It gives you the flump bump with your trunk. There's a lot of you
That's
words.
so cute.
To the untrained eye, it looks a lot like that handshake that Edvard gave Nines at the bar. But with just some slight differences.
And everybody hears a voice in their head as the flump communicates. It says, "Yes, Edvard Thar. It is I, Regulus. Do you not recognize me, old friend?" And you have no idea who Regulus is.
Oh my gosh.
But he knows me.
Do not regard me so quizzically, Edvard Thar, for you saved my life before, and I shall whoa! And then he kind of like falls to the ground. He just like rolls out of the air because he was so focused on the trunk thing that he just like completely loses his aerial footing, for lack of a better term, and he just bounces off the ground like a helium balloon. They're pretty clumsy and stupid.
Oh my god, they're so cute. I've never seen one of those
He
before.
falls to the ground for 5 feet and splats on the floor.
My understanding is that flumps are one of the very first and probably most iconic creatures from Dungeons and Dragons lore. They're old school creatures.
That's adorable.
They're
How have I
cool.
never
And they're
come
good
across
guys.
them before? Sounds
Or
like
are
my
they?
kind of little dude.
Or are they? A question for another time. Yogvin Breborn.
So they're talking in our mind, right? This isn't like out loud.
This thing has a mouth, but it's not talking with its mouth. It seems to be echoing into
There's
your mind.
one too many voices in my head right now as I'm talking to a dead person who's also talking to my mind.
As the flump speaks, the corpse in your arms begins to become more agitated.
Like, I'm not a fan.
Edvard, I'll give you one more chance to take an action, or I'll pass the turn.
You know what you want to do.
I'm not doing that, sword. Yeah, no, I'll pass my turn.
Okay.
Don't think with your sword now.
Frick and Frack here, they're gonna kind of like scoot around. They see the flump, they hear the flump. The Frick is gonna edge closer to the dragon head statue, and he's just kind of starting to examine it while he's furtively glancing at the flump, Regulus the flump. Meanwhile, Frack is watching behind him because he just watched Bright cast this spell, and this corpse is moving around, and he's also looking past to Marlin. He's just taking in the scene with awe and great deal of anxiety. Yagvin, the wall of fire is no more.
I would like to send my echo to the right-hand square of the flump, or Regulus, to put in better terms.
Oh, you're setting yourself up for a flanking maneuver. Gotcha.
Yeah. And then I go step over here.
All right, hang on.
I can flank by myself.
That does provoke an attack of opportunity. Hang on just a second.
Oh, please try.
But strangely, the flump makes no such maneuver, as he is basically lying prone on the ground in humiliation.
What does this one look like?
That's an excellent question. Could you make a perception check, or an investigation check, or an athletics check, or any check you want to make in the tower?
Yeah, I'll make an athletic. I'll make
gotta describe how it works, but you can punch the walls.
I just start doing push-ups, and as I'm doing push-ups, I'm looking down. I'm getting my face closer and away.
Give
Good
me...
old army approach.
I approve of this. Oh my god.
Hang on just a second.
Shenanigans.
So, oh god, I lost track of the thread. Okay, let's see here. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and read. I'm gonna read some flavor text to you. The second wall is harder to see, and it is a thinly shimmering and vibrating sheet of faint white energy. The sheet seems to hum and harmonize across a range of disconcerting tones. It is easy to see beyond this wall to the next one, which is clearly a crackling wall of electricity. And beyond that is a thickly swirling cloud of fog and snow. Set into the stone floor, 5 feet in front of this vibrating sheet of energy, is another mosaic. The figure in the mosaic is a humanoid male with a powerful build and distinctive mutton chops. He stands imposingly behind a bar top, polishing a glass, and a massive greatsword is mounted on the wall behind him.
This Durnan? I'll make a history check, I guess. I don't know.
See who it is?
Yeah. Maybe I've encountered somebody of this individual before.
And it's
As you say the word, Durnan, a loud, echoing voice barrels at you from the hallway. Further
Please
down.
no. Please no.
You literally said, "Is that Durnan?" And what happens next, Durnan?
That bothers me. Oh, it's a bunch of pipsqueaks thinking they can drink. Oh god, I swear I hate dealing with lightweights.
And then
What do you nerds want?
Yagvin, immediately to your right, in the middle of this space, a table is whisked into being. A large wooden table that fills up a 5-foot square. Immediately to your right, and upon that table materializes a frozen glass mug into which magically fills an ice-cold, amber-colored brew. What happens next?
So I hear a voice in a mug. I will chug the mug.
You're gonna chug the mug.
Yes.
Oh, I've been waiting a while to see somebody do this again. This ought to be entertaining. Anybody want to take bets? I've got a whole bunch of Electrum that this little shithead fucking passes out.
Durnan, he appears to be made entirely out of Electrum.
Oh my god.
Couldn't afford the gold one, huh?
Damn.
It's just not true. It's just not true.
He appears to be entirely composed 100% of Electrum and sadness.
This is just, I mean, the sadness maybe, but not the Electrum.
I mean, if I was made of Electrum, I'd be pretty damn sad too. So,
I disagree with that.
Yogvin, I believe you wanted to chug the mug.
Yes, I would like to chug the mug.
Okay.
Chug that mug. Chug
put your
that
coin
mug.
where your mouth is there, fucking big boy. Let's see how strong you are.
How many Electrum are you going to bet on passing or failing this Constitution saving throw?
Myself?
Your whole entire body? So you
No,
do admit that it's Electrum.
No, I thought you were talking to Jeff, not me. I'll put up the 26 Electrum pieces in my party.
Yeah, Durnan
in the
says,
party
who the
sheet.
hell is Jeff?
My name's Jeff. Anyways, what do I have to make a save?
Go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw in the tower.
Oh my god. This is
Okay.
surprise.
So, you reach for the ale, you grab it confidently, this ice cold mug, and you begin to
Feels
drink.
good in your hand, doesn't it?
Does it?
No.
Fancy.
You begin to drink from the mug. Something goes wrong. Something seems to go horribly wrong.
As usual.
You realize that you're pouring this unusual brew that you did not test at all or try to identify.
Yeah. Why not?
You're pouring it into your raw gullet and circuitry. It seems.
Said YOLO.
Well, it's not like raw circuitry is exposed.
Listen, man, you got a natural 4.
Those are well protected
Natural 4. Let's
wires
go.
of muscle.
I'll see you guys in about a day.
So here's what happens. You somehow, in the process of constructing your plate armor into your body, you left a gap exposed in the plates somewhere internally. And as you try to drink this mug, something is odd about this mug. It seems to keep spilling more ale or whatever it is. It just doesn't stop. You chug and chug and chug, and it just keeps coming and coming and coming, and it tastes awful for what all you can even detect with taste. I don't know if you have taste receptors, but
Probably not.
something makes you supernaturally nauseated, and you vomit. You vomit you vomit up this brew. You vomit up little bits and pieces of yourself, like little bolts and nuts and screws, and you have the poison condition for 5 rounds.
Well, technically, I would have advantage on the save.
Oh,
I have
if it's
advantage on
poison?
being poisoned.
How about that?
So I just
All
roll
right,
once
smart
more real
guy.
quick?
Roll once
Screw
more.
the DM up.
Natural 1
Let's see.
incoming.
You got a natural 8 for a total of 12.
Hey.
Oh.
Not
You know?
good enough.
No.
Sorry.
Maybe next time when you rebuild yourself, remember to put in some fortitude there.
Yeah, I hear they're selling fortitude chips, half price around the corner.
Yeah, but don't. Yeah, they're not made of Electrum though. Nobody uses that shit anymore.
You know, that's the problem. You used Electrum in your design. You should have used adamantine. Like I don't know why you weren't thinking about that.
This just isn't canon.
Is down, picks up the mug, and starts looking at it, and goes, "Oh damn, this isn't the ale mug. This is the piss mug." Oh well, same thing happens. Who cares?
Oh my god.
Amazing.
poisoned. I believe that's my turn now.
Yeah, so, where is my character sheet for the dungeon? Hang on just a second.
Anybody else think that they can handle it, or is everybody too chicken shit to try?
I'm kind of talking to dead people.
I gave you an effect. You're poisoned for
Creep
5
girl
rounds.
over there.
Okay.
Got it.
All right. Marlin, this will be the last turn of the night. If we could have Durnan come back next week, we would all be so grateful. But as you can see, this party loves
Wait
to
a minute.
play a little
Show
slow.
of hands. No.
Durnan counts as 10 votes, by the way. There's only 6 people here.
To hell with that old guy over there.
Who said that? Come drink some piss.
Glug glug, motherfucker.
All right. As Marlon begins to walk towards the wall,
yes,
more than he has already, he reaches into one of the scroll cases, kind of tips it over and knocks it into his hand, opens the scroll, and is going to read the contents of Remove Curse
Okay.
to the wall. I know I have to touch it. That's not a big deal. You will do that.
This would be a big deal. So the wall is engulfed in your vitriolic sphere.
Mm-hmm.
So if you try to reach through and touch it, you'll suffer some pretty horrifying damage. Not just from the vitriolic sphere, but from the ever-rebuilding hazards that the wall is composed of. So this would be an extremely dangerous maneuver. You can attempt anything. I'm going to let you know this is going to be desperate. If you get basically it's a DC 21.
Okay.
All right. So what kind of roll do you want to make?
Arcana, obviously.
Gotcha.
With my last inspiration is advantage.
Let me double check the spell. Just pausing for effect. Because this is an overwhelmingly powerful effect that is not meant to be destroyed. But I just want to see what happens because we're throwing caution to the wind. So this roll that you're making, this Arcana roll, this is going to allow you to safely touch the wall.
Aight.
And then if you do touch the wall, you're still going to have to follow the rules of Remove Curse, which means you'll have to make that spell casting ability check that is built into the spell to try and dispel something that is greater than 3rd level, which this most certainly is.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead and give me that roll then in the tower with advantage.
Oh, you got advantage.
You can
Sorry.
go just one more time. Okay. It was a close one. Tell me how you succeeded.
Hey.
He's getting tired. He's used almost all of his magic. And he's tired of this chasing us around here. So he, in desperation, reaches into the spell scroll, knocks it out, reads it. As he feels the energy from the scroll course through his body, he reaches and touches the wall with the Remove Curse spell.
Okay. So, your skinny, liver-spotted, frail hand, it seems to weave straight through the bubble of vitriolic, acidic energy. It seems that you can see the currents as it roils and turns and boils and bubbles. And you just make it seem effortless somehow. You just seem to avoid the damage. It's like you have a very thin, protective glove that cannot be seen, but you know it's there. And you reach through, and amongst the spikes and implements that are forming and dissolving and reforming, You find a flat space upon which to rest your palm, and you cast from the scroll. And you realize that this is an overwhelmingly powerful spell, some sort of very complicated spell effect, and it is not intended to be overcome. I need you to make a spellcasting ability check. This is going to be, I believe it's going to be a raw intelligence check. I gotta double check the spell one more time. Right?
Yeah, that sounds right. If it's a yeah.
So let's see. If a spell is on your class's spell list, but of a higher level than you can normally. Oh, I'm reading something else. Hang on. At your touch, all curses affecting one creature. Oh, I'm treating. I was reading the spell scroll description. Okay, if the object is a cursed magic item, its curse remains, but the spell breaks its owner's attunement to the object, so it can be removed or discarded. All curses affecting one creature or object will come to an end. I see. Ooh, this is definitely going to have a limited effect, because these are magical.
Because you don't want it to fix it. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I've been there. I've been there. You're like, oh crap! They just get it.
I was treating it like it was going to be a dispel magic spell, which would have had a greater effect. Since you're trying to remove curses from something that's not cursed, I don't want you to feel like this is wasted. So,
playing the character.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's cool, and I like how we're kind of like bending things. I like to bend things a little bit. I want to. You got a 22 on your Arcana check. It was a middling roll. It was either an 11 or an 8. So with a 22, for limited effect, I'll say 1d4 plus 1 extra rounds that you halt the advance of the wall. So you're buying the party some extra time. So this is pretty valuable, especially considering that they had to spend some of that time to pull off the greater restoration. So this is kind of like you paying the party back. Like, let me buy you that time back, and I can slow it down in this way and that way. And you're using consumables, so that's a good thing. And as far as your spell slots lost, if you guys find a way to take a short rest, then you'll be able to get some of those spell slots back. I think you have an arcane recovery ability waiting in the wings. It's just a matter of finding out how to take a 1-hour rest in the dungeon that only allows for a 15-minute adventuring day. Literally. So go ahead and give me 1d4, and I'm going to add that to the number of ticks required. So that'll be 3 extra ticks. So that'll be a total of 18 rounds, one of which is passed. Is there anything else you think you can do?
Yeah, as he touches this thing and gleans this information, which he was hoping to do as he touched it, he will kind of lose a little bit of his energy. No damage, that kind of thing, but just the power that it drains from him arcanically, if that's even a word, arcanely.
Yeah.
He steps back a couple feet, 5 feet, and tries to gather his wits. And that will be his turn.
Yeah. There's one more thing that happens as you pull away from the wall and the acid floods back into the space where your hand was. You hear a tiny, faint whisper from somewhere far away, but it's coming to you into your mind, and it's a very familiar, sneering, elvish, accented voice. It says, "You're going to have to do better than that, old man."
You got called out.
Creepy proprietor.
And
Very
that's
good.
where we're going to hold off for the night, as we pass a turn, and I put one more tick on the wall. It has 16 more rounds before it can be permitted to move again, unless you guys can find anything else to throw into its path. I will let you know that you are doing this the hard way. But hey, you're doing it. That's the important thing. Why
Got our
go
own
forward
spin on
when
it.
you can go backward? I love it. But I want to allow for a little bit of anything. So I think this is very interesting, and there's plenty more goodies to find along the way for those who are intrepid enough to do so. And of course, there is plenty of beer to drink. Or maybe it's just piss.
Beer.
I hope not.
It's just piss.
But we're going to go ahead and call it a night here on Praetor's Rejects. I want to thank my 4 players and the inimitable, the inevitable, the fully bearded... What's your name again?
King Bashman.
Jimmy.
That's right, King Bashman. For coming in to play, to reprise his signature role as Durnan, leader of the Durnan's Expendables on a far forgotten game, lost to time. Hopefully it comes back one day. And in the meantime,
for this shit.
You and me both, pal, says Marlon. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Praetor's Rejects. We have plenty of exceptional content going on the channel. I believe there is, let's see, there's a Strixhaven game that plays. There is Rise Against the Slave Lords. I believe that happens on the weekend. Every now and then, DM Esquire, right? The Magic the Gathering guy. He runs the Strixhaven game, and he plays Magic the Gathering sometimes on Praetor's Rejects as well. And late breaking news, hot off the presses. I believe next week, or maybe the week after that, is going to be somebody's birthday. And I think there's going to be some giveaways. Can Bashman tell us a little bit more about that? Because I don't have all the info.
It's going to be Lord Praetor's birthday week bonanza celebration that is done every week. Or not every week, every year. For a week.
Every week?
Every week.
He's so old.
Just get on to it.
I don't want to
giveaway.
age anymore. I'm tired of
Message
parties.
stuff for inquiry.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and if you need to inquire more about the weekly giveaways, let me pass you his cell phone number.
Birthday McRibs for everyone.
Yes, it'll be a full week of different content on the channel and giveaways sponsored by Total Party Kill Games and the Druid's Den, and there's a host of others. I'd have to find the information he sent to get all of the actual specifics, but it's a big event every year, and you don't want to miss it.
You guys, if you're watching and you want to know more, please message any one of us on, or you can join the Discord. There's a whole Discord for Praetor's Rejects, and a lot of friendly people, a lot of games starting up and then dying, and then new games starting up in their place. We're always looking for more players and more interaction, all sorts of interesting stuff going on Praetor's Rejects. And so I want to thank my players. I'm going to jump us over to the role-play portrait so I can say goodbye to Yagvin Brabon, the tiefling known as Bright, Edvard Thar and his insidious, soul-consuming sword, and Marlon the Magnificent, doing things the hard way, which is what I love.
Yeah, whatever.
Magnificent way.
It's the magnificent way, because who knows what lies on the other side of the wall? There's only one way to know for sure.
Indeed.
And thank you very much for our special guest, Bashman, for jumping in and reprising Durnan. My name is Huxley, and we will be back next week on Friday night, the 19th of August, at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys had fun. I know I did. I love this game so much. And let's do it again real soon. How about next week? Sound good?
Yee.
Yee.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, everybody.
Yeah, I guess that'll be all right. Goddamn it.
On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. My beef!
My beef!
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Everybody.
Bye.
Whatever.
Bye,
Whatever. Have some more piss.